Welcome back to The Watch, and we are back with the ALLSTREAM. Sorry that we didn't get to do it last week. I was at a medieval festival, but we're back, of course, going to be keeping it as regular as possible, and we have a wonderful group of excellent gentlemen joining us once again. Mike, how are you, mate?
I'm very well. Thank you very much, Shad.
We got two Mikes, so now we got Mike Barron and Mike.
Oh, yeah.
We call him Mark. We call the other one Mark.
Hi, Mark. For those who don't know, Mike Miller, 30-year comic book industry veteran, now the artist on Shadow of the Conqueror Volume 2. Hervoye in the chat is asking how that's coming along. I just finished page 20 yesterday, so we are moving along. If I can maintain this clip, we could actually launch the next campaign like by the time the other one is due. Because we put April on the campaign, right? And I'm like doing the math. I'm like,
We are speeding along, and we got some updates, sneak peeks to share with that, but it's actually really exciting. We are just blazing forward with it. Mike Barron, how are you, mate?
Good.
Thanks for joining us, sir. Now,
My
did you want to
pleasure.
introduce? Yeah, could you introduce yourself to those who might not know who you are?
Well, I've been writing comics since 1981 when I created Nexus with my co-creator, Steve Rude. And we are publishing New Nexus today, making us the longest lived independent superhero comic there is. I also created The Badger. I wrote Punisher, Flash, Star Wars, many other titles for the big two. I fell out of the industry about 20 years ago. In fact, I thought my writing career was end. But I went through some bad times. But when I came out of it, you know, I set out to write novels, but it took me 30 years to learn how to write a novel because I'm a slow learner. But when I get it, I get it. So I'm writing novels now, but I'm still pursuing comics. And my latest project is Private American, a story about the southern border, which makes it a forbidden topic. And Kickstarter just removed our page.
We heard about that, and I want to talk about that a bit more, but we'll quickly go through the introductions, and then we'll jump on a couple of things for Chuck, and then also you, Mike. But Literature Devil, good to see you, mate. How are you?
Oh, hello. I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on again. It's always fun. It's always fun.
Good to have you. Hey, I heard Dr. Alpha is get close to being fully funded.
Oh, yeah, very close. Very close. We had some pretty good progress today. I think we're at 21,720. Which brings us within 86% funded. We are now 86% funded, so doing pretty well. 6 days to go, so it looks like it's we're doing pretty well so far.
Let's try and get it there. It's awesome to have you again, Royce from A Drink with Crazy. How are you, sir?
I am doing very, very well. I am proud to announce that I was called a grifter for the first time this week.
Oh, nice.
I just want to know where I can go get my trophy or my award. Is there a ceremony or?
That's a badge. That's like I saw you making it.
I know. I just yeah. Apparently, I'm not allowed to. Apparently, I'm not allowed to talk about Wizards of the Coast and how they're trying to manipulate language and go along with the rest.
If it can remotely or possibly make you money, you're not supposed to do it. That's the rules. Okay.
Great to have you with us, Royce.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the ALLSTREAM. And then we also have Chuck Dixon. How are you, sir?
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining with us, Chuck. For those who don't know who you are, care to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm probably best known for co-creating the Batman villain Bane with Graham Nolan. I did 11 years on the Batman comics. Wrote, hundreds and hundreds of stories. Also, like Mike, I've written for the Punisher, but I've also done The Simpsons, SpongeBob SquarePants, Moon Knight, Nightwing. I've worked on just about every franchise, and I've worked for every comic book company there is.
Awesome.
And today is
Bane's birthday.
Bane's birthday.
Hey.
Bane's only 30 years old today. Such a youngster.
He's accomplished so much.
So what year was he made in then? That's 30 years. I subtract. Yeah, so
92.
92. Wow.
That is that's the year I started in comics.
Wow.
Really? Yeah. I was 7 years old.
I was a little older.
Yeah.
If Bane had a favorite beer, what would it be?
Oh boy. I don't know. What's a good Mexican beer?
Modelo?
I would say none.
Yeah. I that's why I'm
I
asking.
love Corona.
There are many fine
Corona
Mexican
with a slice of lime.
microbrews.
Oh my
Let's
God.
take a look.
Okay, Mexico. You go to the food and the music of Mexico. Beer, I'd go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because I wasn't aware of one.
Baja.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe he's a
I have no
connoisseur.
point of reference. I don't drink beer, so there
No,
we
neither
go.
do I. So I
That's
would
my favorite hobby. My favorite hobby is beer. So.
Wow.
Can you imagine
Yes, I saw.
Mexican imports to Australia would probably be like super expensive.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
you want a beer? Oh, here you go. It's $70. That's fair, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this, though. The upper Midwest has some fantastic microbreweries, though.
That's true. I come from Madison, Wisconsin. There are 32 microbreweries in town. But here in Fort Collins, which is 1/4 the size, we have 29 microbreweries.
You're from my old stomping grounds,
have to
Mike.
look it up.
Actually, there's a couple of them in Loveland that I used to go to all the time. Loveland Ale Works and
Yep.
Verboten
All right.
Brewing down in Oh, so good. So
Gentlemen,
good.
as riveting as this discussion on beer is,
Sir, this
we
is my
are-
favorite topic. Thank you.
yeah, of course, it makes sense, doesn't it? A
I'm
drink. with
supposed to bring
crazy-
the vice. I'm a devil.
we only have Chuck for a short time, and so I wanted.
Okay,
to,
but just to close this out, in San Diego there are over 220 microbrewers.
Wow.
And what's the
guys, if
size
you want to,
of
if you
San
really
Diego?
want to
How big is
keep
San Diego?
going, Australians are famous for getting drunk. Okay, so don't even. I don't even drink, and we're flooded with this. But we only have Chuck for a short amount of time, and so I do want to jump on some topics that you wanted to talk about. Chuck, was anything in particular that you wanted to chat about or bring up while we have you, sir?
Well, unlike Mike, I haven't been kicked off Kickstarter yet. Of course, it's still early in the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a Rambo graphic novel up there. And,
Yeah.
But
Wait, you didn't send me the rent. You sent me the spin rack,
yeah, I
the
sent you a link.
midnight, and then the Indiegogo first kill.
Yeah. Oh, it's Indiegogo.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one's on Kickstarter.
Okay. So could you explain, because there's a couple of different artists working on this project and
Yeah.
also writers, is that right?
No. It basically plotted by Sly and myself, scripted by me.
Sly.
And,
He's on Sly.
Well, he insists.
Me
He
and my
insists.
buddy.
That's his nickname.
My
Yeah.
bro.
Everybody in the
It's a
Expendables
cool
called him
name.
that.
So yeah, it's different artists. It's like we have like 4 chapters leading up to the main 40-page story, and each one takes a different aspect of, how we take him from a high school student to how he ended up in Vietnam for his first tour.
That's great. And so Critical Drinker, what in like it's been said that it's also part of his book, or he wrote one of the parts, or like I'm
Well, he wrote like it's like a backup story, I guess you'd call it, about Major Troutman from in Korea. It's like his origin story.
That's cool.
So it's like a 16-page story written by the Critical Drinker, which is
Look at that, Shad.
really
Kanan
cool.
White, one of our cover artists for Shadow of the Conqueror, Kanan White.
looks great.
Yeah,
God,
the
that looks
covers,
good.
the interior art, everything's fantastic. It's terrific people working on this.
Oh, let's hope it doesn't get shadow banned, because Indiegogo has been.
They
owning
would have
that.
to have some balls to shadow ban Sylvester Stallone.
Let me drop the link here in the chat. Maybe you
In
can add it
fact,
to the description later on.
In fact, you might hope you get shadow banned. That would make great, huge news.
Shadow
Shadow banning Sylvester Stallone, Hollywood sweetheart, shadow banned on Indiegogo.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
news.
There you go.
Looks great though.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's a straight up war story. So
Is this is this traditional or is this digital? It looks like watercolor, but it's like
I don't know. I don't know how that artist works.
it's really cool.
Yeah, I love his style. It's very different.
Yeah.
So,
That's
So-
Aaron Alfecci.
yeah.
Nice. Aaron's so freaking good.
Look, yeah, the line work on this is just. Oh,
And all these
God.
guys did their homework on the gear and the equipment and everything else. I mean, I couldn't find fault with that. I mean, I kept offering to send them more reference, but apparently they had plenty of their own. So,
That's great. If only Hollywood would do the same, especially the medieval period. Gosh.
yeah, seriously.
So while we're on the topic of like the crowdfunding platforms, this is it's frustrating because one, Indiegogo's been shadow banning, and so one of the solutions, and I say short-term solutions because I don't think it's a long-term solution. It actually seemed like maybe Kickstarter was starting to get their crap together, but no, it doesn't, because
Yeah.
they've just
You just
totally
banned my project over lies, outright lies from an article by the Daily Costs. You know what
Oh,
the
yeah, I
Daily
have that
Oh,
article
yeah,
here,
they're a
too.
trash rag. I've read some of their stuff before.
Yeah, that's nuts. I mean, the allegations are ridiculous. If anything, you're doing the opposite of what
actionable.
they're saying. You know,
Yeah, you should sue him, dude.
yeah.
like, it's just frustrating as hell because, like I said, it looked like Kickstarter was putting their crap together, and then they've just banned Mike. And based on what, so this is an article from like a
Based on a
no-name.
scurrilous article filled with lies by somebody who doesn't know me, who never read the script, who never looked at the pitch, but because of the world we live in now, there are millions of trolls on living in their parents' basement, looking to hurt people they don't like. And they don't like me because I'm a conservative. I'm a constitutional conservative. I've never made any bones about that fact. And I've always ripped stories from the headlines. This book is about the southern border, and that's the reason it's being banned.
Right.
Yeah. That's the key thing. And it's this, like, I find it a really interesting but also perverse type of, well, essentially racism, where they think you can't you can't have any protected group depicted as in any what as they perceive negative light. And they, because it even came out, there was a backlash with the Wednesday Netflix TV show because one of the bullies in the show is black, and they're like, it's racist. Like, what the hell? Trying to like treating people different according to the color of their skin. That's racist. And try to say you can't, like, you must only have like certain, demographics depicted
Only
a certain
bullies.
way.
Only bullies can only be white. That's it.
Yeah, can you play the video?
Yeah, I wanted to say, where is it up here? That it's really funny because my book Lone Star got kicked off a Kickstarter or like 2 years ago because I had Lone Star beating up MS-13.
I know. I remember that, Mike.
What?
And so
And like,
you
but
couldn't
people
have
who-
you couldn't have an oppressed minority being attacked. And I'm like,
They're
MS-13
God's
is
children,
oppressed.
Mike.
like but for those people that are MS-13, one of the most violent, like, Mexican, is it cartel gangs? Like,
they're Salvadoran, El Salvadoran.
Salvadoran. I was like,
Yeah, let's be fair.
Oh no.
Yeah, let's play the video real quick. Let's see it.
yeah. Is the audio on?
America's southern border has become a war zone. Human traffickers, drug smugglers, and terrorists flow across the Rio Grande with impunity, secure in the knowledge that no one will stop them. A distant federal government lectures Americans on their privilege while punishing overworked border patrol agents who were helpless to stem the tidal wave of invaders and determined migrants. Second-generation Cuban-American Marcos Zamora is a military vet, more patriotic than most Americans. No longer able to ignore the chaos at his doorstep, he acts. Joined by his best friend Gus, they hit the border every night, saving lives while stopping violent drug cartels and other opportunists. The government reacts with fury at Marcos' attempts to preserve American sovereignty, deploying the full might of their enforcement agencies. But Marcos understands that the only thing the rich and powerful fear is bad publicity, and he records every encounter. Whoever he is, this private American must be stopped. Illustrated by Richard Bonk and written by Eisner winner Mike Barron, Private American is his version of Captain America, and maybe a little Punisher, taking part in this ongoing, violent, and very real battle of good versus evil in the war for American sovereignty. Grab your copy at theprivateamerican.com.
We have a secure border, and that is a priority for our administration.
That reminds me of what's his face Biden just got asked how come he doesn't go to the border, and he was in Arizona, and they're like, why don't you go visit the border? And he's like, there's more important things.
I from an outsider, an Australian, just watching all the kind of narrative about it, it seems like the mainstream media and the left, they can't stand anyone speaking about actual events and truthful, things that are happening, and issues that are happening with, border crossings, from human trafficking to the drug crossings and stuff like that. And because they're so sensitive about any of that, you can see why they dislike the your graphic novel, but you're fictionalizing and also kind of making like comic books have done that forever, but now you're not allowed to touch certain topics that certain people find too spicy, I guess.
I mean, it's also been true in history that you're not allowed to go against the regime.
That's right.
And
And we're slowly turning into communist China. It's frightening.
Not only has this been done in comics for a very long time, they've been touting and demanding that this be the thing that comics only cover for years now. The era that every comic has to be political and has to cover a social issue. They've been demanding this happen, but not like that. We do it.
Yeah, those are the wrong politics and wrong
I have
social
to stress that there's nothing didactic about this book. There are no lectures or bumper stickers. It's pure excitement from the first page. I know how to entertain, and that's my rule number one. Everything I write has got to be entertaining. Second rule is to show, don't tell. So it's not filled with caption after caption telling you what the hero thinks or whatever. It just shows you a damn good story.
Yeah, but that's what they're worried about, Mike. They're worried about people with a realistic worldview,
Right.
creating entertainment that does not indoctrinate the viewer
Right.
into their worldview,
Right.
which is freaking demonic.
George Orwell wrote, "The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command." That's from 1984.
Don't worry, Winston. It's not easy to become sane.
I know. I mean, the point is human nature doesn't change. And these regimes are in the business of trying to force you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears. What you're seeing isn't real because they're an empire built on lies.
Yeah, it's incredible just watching it, because I mean we all have friends on all the political spectrum, right? And just watching the abject denial coming out of their side, it's because all they do is consume the propaganda machine. And it's like you try to tell them, like, I mean, the Hunter laptop thing that's not even, it doesn't matter. Well, it's like, what are you even talking about? It's like you move the goalpost so many times. There's no point in even having.
I was told this week on and I shouldn't engage with my comments on YouTube, but I do because it's fun. I was told this
what do you
week
mean?
that-
Should he engage with your comments? Do you mean engage with your critics? Because I think comments always engage.
Oh,
Like,
no. Like I go down there and I'll reply back and forth as much as I can.
Okay.
But like I will let these people who are trying to tear me down, and I just keep going with them and just to see. But anyway,
okay.
I was told this week to.
Can I interrupt you? Sorry.
Yep.
I just want to, just because right on that point, I see you, BinTube. He says, "I love how Shad reads the chat." He's like, "I try to. Sometimes I miss it, but I certainly, I saw you." Sorry, go, Royce.
No, you're good. No, but I was told this week, and to go into the lies of all this stuff, that because I had mentioned inflation and things like that in the back and forth, and he goes, "Well, and inflation's just a global phenomenon anyway. You can't do anything about it." And I was like, I just stopped as soon as I read that. I was like, I'm out. I like I have better things to do with my time. Like, man.
I had comments that were that didn't like my review on the Galadriel thing, and they were just outright just deleting things from history, just like that didn't happen. That scene didn't happen. I'm like, okay, well, we're done here. If you're going to go ahead and delete entire bits of reality, I don't think this argument's going to go anywhere.
How do they do it?
The mind that alters all. Voltaire.
They get obsessed with their own kind of worldview or narrative, and nothing will change that. Like, it's funny how you say like engaging with haters and stuff. Sometimes I I like to push back and put people in their place as well. Royce, happened recently, actually. One guy was lying about this. I went to a festival and I did like some sparring in HEMA and stuff. And there's a group in the HEMA, like most of the HEMA guys are fine. They're great. But there's this minority group that hate me. Because I'm very honest about certain things. It's actually an interesting microcosm how just human nature. It's the exact same thing when you can apply that to politics, everything else. But anyway, he just started saying absolute bullcrap about what happened at this event, about that I went there and got totally beaten by all these HEMA practitioners and stuff. And then he links the video, which contradicts him, which has me win the match and has 2 fights. And he says, I had all these other fights. And I just called him out, like, absolutely full of crap, dude. Even the video you posted contradicts. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. It's just an interesting point that that comes up. But what do you have up on screen at the moment here?
This is another one of Chuck's projects. This is Midnight's War. Chuck, you want to tell us about this?
Yeah, it's a graphic novel. It's been serialized on Arctoons, Arkhaven's digital comics site. But now we're getting ready to put together an in-print graphic novel. And it's about a world, alternate reality, where the ruling class are vampires, and the rest of us are just.
So that's like reality. They're Democrats.
Yeah, seriously, it mirrors our own reality. And,
it's a very thinly veiled.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, in the recent, I think it was the Willow review or something else, I likened Disney Lucasfilm to vampires, that they have no creativity and they have to grab whatever previous property that has any type of fan base and suck it dry of anything they do, because then they just ruin it. And yeah, just on the vampire note, but Disney Lucasfilm, good analogy. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so it's an action story, primarily action horror. I introduce Kyle Buckner. He's a human who works as a police officer. He's the day watch for the vampires, and he encounters this group of knights. These guys are basically blessed with blood that is poisonous to the vampires, and they're out to bring the regime down. And it's action adventure, bloody, gory horror stuff with gorgeous artwork.
Yeah, really nice.
Great.
Yeah.
Tight
But
stuff.
it's like I think it's like maybe 140 page graphic novel. I haven't counted the pages.
Wow, yeah, that's a chunky
Dang, for
one.
how much?
About 140 pages. Yeah, it's
No,
epic.
I mean, how much is the?
Oh, I don't know. And then we're spinning off a new series from it featuring the cop called Midnight's War Night Streets. So,
Wow, very cool.
yeah, it's fun to work on.
It's great. I get this kind of Blade vibes from it, but then there's another one. The Magdalene, was that? It was a vampire kind of thing. Anyway, it just looks
Top
great.
Cow, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of dark humor too. I can't resist putting humor and stuff.
So whose idea was the COVID mask?
I think that was the artist. You want the masked hero. So
You didn't
these
want
guys are kind of
COVID alleys
background
out there.
characters. They're very mysterious.
The
main
masked
character
hero
of
was
the-
always different. You covered the top of the head, not the.
Right.
It was, yeah.
It's a cool look.
Do you know what Prime Minister Z says?
Oh no.
Dark humor is like food. Not everybody gets it.
Oh shit.
All right, and what's this other one you sent me?
This is a new company that Graham Nolan and I are involved with as
Oh, cool.
founders. It's comics, it's gaming, it's tchotchkes, merchandising. We're getting ready to roll it out. Our first game featuring characters. It's based on Graham and my own our shared IP, our shared universes. Of all the
I
stuff
do
that we
just
own.
want to point out that those would be backwards.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, like why they write ambulance backwards on the front of an
Well,
ambulance?
Mike, what if it was actually written backwards on the thing and it just get reflected the normal way?
That's
So
a
you
fair
don't
point.
know everything.
That's a fair point.
So nice to hear somebody tell Mike that. So nice. Oh,
That's what I come on here to do.
thank you. Can you come on my stream when he's on my streams and tell him that for me, please?
just long enough to tell him he doesn't know everything, and then goodbye.
No, I'm totally fine with that. That's exactly what I need.
I think Royce is just going to clip that as use it as a clip.
There you
on
go.
the show.
So yeah, Spin Rack is it's creator owned, it's creator driven. It's going to be we got some serious investment. We got some really talented tech people involved. Some people that are legends in the gaming and the tech end. And our first game will be out like the day after Christmas.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
You'll have to come back on and give us updates as that moves along.
Absolutely.
All right.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
everyone, I do want to just keep pointing everybody to IndieCron. If you're into these comics and stuff at all, then just do get over to IndieCron. Look at that. Dr.
That's pretty
Alpha's
convenient. Mine just popped up.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dr. Alpha right there.
Yeah, I was like you're
Speaking
planning
of
it or
Dr.
something.
Pay for
Alpha.
that.
Speaking of Dr. Alpha,
Yeah.
so IndieCron's a great place to funnel people if you want to direct them to go find other great indie comics projects that are coming out. IndieCron is the place to go. Please do visit and do your shopping there. Speaking
I
of Dr.
genuinely,
Alpha,
yeah. Well, I just wanted to add on to your point, right? Because I was really frustrated that there are such great comic book projects that I had no idea about, because it's actually can be genuinely really hard to find these awesome projects because they don't get recommended, they get shadow banned, sometimes they get flat out banned. And so having a resource that you can go to direct you to where some of these awesome projects are is a really great resource, guys. So do check out IndieCron. And as we mentioned, Dr. Alpha is right there, which is LitDev's very own project.
Cool.
Jump over to that one.
Yeah, and I'm working hard to make it a really awesome story, really cool stuff. Especially if you read the first one, it should be pretty fun. And I've been I told some people the kind of where it's going to go in volume 1, and people said, "Oh, that's pretty cool." So, and that's I didn't even tell them the meat of the story, just like kind of the bare bones mechanical events, what happens. But so it's mostly going to be there's an unfolding mystery, there's character development, character drama, all kinds of good stuff. So I think people will enjoy it.
Awesome. All right, gentlemen. So let's start to kind of segue into some of the main topics that I wanted to discuss with you throughout the stream. And one of the kind of main topics is, wow, Hollywood, are they starting to experience the death throes of because Nerdrotic made a great video where he says, it was I forget the exact title, but something along the lines of Hollywood is dying, and that's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Hollywood die.
Genuinely great video. I love how he started it, where he just basically shares all the articles where they're like saying, Rings of Power is going to upset Lord of the Rings purists, and that's a good thing. And they basically were trying to double down on all these stupid decisions that they made. That's a good thing. And then he just switched it back on them. So I loved how he started that. But the things that he raises, like in the video, are actually poignant and really interesting to see what's going on, because we've seen some massive kind of fails in Hollywood, Rings of Power being one of the biggest, most recent ones, with how that just bombed. No matter how much they want to spin it, Rings of Power was a disaster for Amazon. And seeing the fans push back against that was just a thing of beauty. It was.
I mean, if it wasn't a disaster, they wouldn't be trying to convince us so hard that it wasn't.
I just think of like in the future, you know how like people look back on like the 60s and the 70s and the 80s as these time, moments in time in cinema, and what are they going to think about this past 5-10 years of just this constant drumbeat of garbage level stuff, right, with very few high points. But
hopefully
it's like
societal disarray, and we can
this
teach
garbage,
people
and then
from
like
our-
10 years, 20 years from now, what are people going to even think about this era?
I do feel it's going to be a time that people will study as like a dark time in not only media, but I would also say the world.
The darkest age.
Like genuinely, like some of the worst media and TV shows, movies that have ever been made are being made currently and consistently. That was one of the so we've been reviewing Willow on Night's Watch. Episode 3 is out. It's a hilarious one. Check it out, guys, if you haven't seen it, because it was so incredibly bad. And one of the observations we make is that I'm shocked and also impressed at how consistently bad the stuff that is being made, like regularly, where there's only a couple of few good ones, but everything else is such crap, especially by Disney and Lucasfilm at the moment. It's just par for the course for how bad it all is. And so in 20 years time, I think people are going to look back and they're just going to see like, wow. Because this crap isn't going to be remembered. It's not going to I'm not going to share it with my kids. People aren't going to look back and rewatch it. Like, I'm never going to watch Rings of Power again. That was painful and just bad.
It's really good if you're like wide awake and wired and need to get some sleep for the next day. That's what Rings of Power is really good for, putting you right to sleep. Willow was also awful. I watched those two. There's so much. I mean, that's pure distilled cringe. I mean, it's lethal levels of cringe. Whatever you think it has in there, especially like the princess who doesn't like to wear dresses, who does guy things, and like you name it, it's in there.
Have you seen episode 3?
Not yet.
Oh, dude, episode 3 is amazing. Like, she gets lost in a forest and comes across, like the whole cliche, like little cottage in the forest, and there are 2 woods women there.
Oh, of course. I would have gone to episode 3 today, but that like the Rocky movies where they're going to the last round, and you can tell Apollo Creed's like, I don't want to go back in there. I don't want to fight again. That's what I felt like. It's like, do I have to watch this again? Like, I don't want to go back in there.
I don't know how you guys do it. I genuinely do not know how you guys subject yourself to this just garbage media. And I always because I will watch what you guys say about something before I'll go check stuff out now. And not just you guys, but like a plethora of other people, and even people that may disagree with you on certain. But usually when all the people that I watch agree on something being really bad, I avoid it. And you guys sit here and just keep throwing it down the mouth like trick or treat candy or something.
I'd like to recommend some good movies.
Yes, let's do it.
Let Him Go, starring Kevin Costner and Diane Lane, is one of the best thrillers I've seen in years. There's a movie called The Rider about a rodeo competitor recovering from a brain injury that'll leave your jaw on the floor. And there's a movie called A Prayer Before Dawn about a drug dealer who's locked up in a Thai prison, and the only way he can get out is by competing in the prison Thai boxing competitions.
Oh, that's right.
That sounds cool. That one.
A Prayer Before Dawn.
A Prayer Before
And The Rider is awesome. Mike recommended it to me, and it's a life-changing movie. It really is.
Are any of these on
Three
streaming
Musketeers
platforms, or
flick
can I buy them on DVD
rad.
or Blu-ray?
Oh, if you haven't seen the Richard Lester Three Musketeers, do yourself a favor and watch that too.
But the new French one looks awesome.
Yeah, the French one, yeah.
What's the Richard Lester one?
Should Dumas have been allowed to write the Three Musketeers because he himself was Haitian?
And it's all men.
Culture.
It's all
Should
white
Shakespeare
men.
have been allowed to write Othello?
Yes, clearly not diverse enough. It's problematic. I mean, who would have thought like a thing based in European history would have white people? Shocking. Oh my goodness,
It's amazing.
So,
I'm kind of bummed that George bent the knee on that with the House of the Dragon, with the Valerians being black. It's like that doesn't make any sense to your own story, George.
Yeah, but have you ever seen him in interviews? He's all in on this garbage.
Oh, okay. He's all in personally, but he's not when it comes to his actual work, right? He doesn't let that stuff interfere with his work. But
like you,
case, I think.
Well, see, just on that note, right? I agree with Mike in that sense because it's confirmed with House of the Dragons. Like he has like good men, bad men, good women, bad women. He doesn't try and favor for diversity, everything there. Or you might say, yes, it has diversity, but like he actually pissed off the left because a gay guy gets beaten to death in it. And they were like, oh, it's homophobic because a gay guy is beaten. He wasn't beaten to death for being gay. He was beaten to death because, well, it's actually a bit of a mystery. But
yeah, and then the other
they don't see anything past being gay. So obviously,
he's one of the most likable characters in the whole story.
Well, here's the thing: if you don't like the movie, the books are always there.
Yeah.
And I also mentioned that Peter Dinklage, like he played Tyrion Lannister, right? And Tyrion Lannister, he's supposed to be this ugly, hideous dwarf. Everyone hates him. His own family despises him. And then Peter Dinklage is like, he's willing to get all the accolades and fame and fortune from playing that role, where the dwarf is considered the monster. His dwarfish features cause him to be looked down upon and hideous. However, then he goes to the Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Oh, that is disparaging to dwarves. Don't make it.
Yeah.
That was
hired the handsomest midget in all of Hollywood to play the most hideous creature ever spawned in Westeros. It's like, it wasn't really good casting, even though he did a fantastic.
He did such. I understand why they cast him. He was such a good actor. But also, Sean O'Brien, thank you very much for the comment. I'm glad you're enjoying it, sir.
Yeah, but they should have cast that mini me, or I don't know. Hey, I know this totally goes against your grain, Shad, but Michael Denaf says something I agree with for $25. He says, although they'd already driven away the audience, Andor is a diamond in the rough, mature, atmospheric, and intelligently written. Doesn't this prove that Disney have it within them to produce quality media? Well, of course they have it within them. And actually, this is something I was thinking about while I was watching the last episode of Andor.
You really want to get into about Andor?
Well, here's the thing. I think that in time, it's not doing well, but it is well done. And I think that in time, that's the kind of thing that does last, even though it might be, missed when it comes out. It's like Treasure Planet, right? It did very poorly, but it's so great that
movie
people,
was
all right.
And this becomes what we're doing, what you're doing, Shad. It's word of mouth. Back when Treasure Planet came out, it had to be all word of mouth, right? But now our words and our mouths are broadcast on our channels to like hundreds of thousands of people. So it's like, it's still word of mouth, but it's it's like it's
on a mic. It's with a microphone.
All right. Here's my take on Andor, right? There are moments in it that are average. There are fewer moments that I would actually concede that are good, okay? And that they are all hidden between such boring filler.
It's a slow burn.
Now, there's slow burn, and then there's glacial pace. I think, but don't get me wrong, there are elements that I think are good, but the thing is, most of it is just average, and I think people are giving it way too much credit because it's the only semi-competent thing that Star Wars has made in ages, and people are celebrating
you also have to take in mind where this takes place. The story, they shouldn't have named it Andor. They should have named it like Seed of Rebellion or something.
I agree.
Because that's what it is about. It's like we're in an oppressed state, and you can't do all the big actiony stuff, right? You've got to subvert the empire and the build up to the last episode. That's kind of where we're heading until we get to
even with my problems with it, it is definitely the best thing Disney Star Wars has made in recent memory. I don't think that's a compliment myself, but it is the best thing they've made, and as a result, people are, especially big Star Wars fans, are praising it to the moon. And I'm like, compare that to Empire, right? Like, how good is it really?
Empire is the single best thing ever produced by Star Wars.
Yes, but we want that quality again, and so we should hold it to that standard. And then, like Cassian Andor is such a wet rag of a character. He's so boring. And then the entire season, right? The very last episode gets to the narrative-wise, achieves the thing that we were hoping they would achieve in the first friggin' episode. And it's like, I did enjoy seeing the evil of the Empire in different aspects. I did enjoy that, right? But it achieved so little in anyway. There we go.
It's like the Office version of. Chuck, you've only got about 5 minutes left. Is there anything else you wanted to hit on the head before you had to go?
No, not really. Except we were earlier talking about how the left can't stand criticism, and that's because their ideology is based on lies. We have to defend our beliefs all the time, and I'm sure everyone here is well spoken and does it on their own because our beliefs aren't weak, but theirs are. So they have to lie about them, and then make everyone else lie about it. So not to bring the room down.
Yeah, speaking of that, my favorite pattern I've seen with all of these new movies and stuff like that is getting people to lie. It is, okay, first we're going to make this awful version of something that you all like, and then everyone hates it. And they drag in the old actors who were in the original thing that you liked. And they're like, oh, look, now get in there and say it's awesome. And they're like, yes, sir, just don't hurt me. And yes, this new thing is great. I give my thumbs up. It's going fantastic. It's perfect, like Frodo and Sam, from the original.
Yeah, but on that note, isn't it hilarious when one of those former actors are honest about it? Did you see what the actor who played Theoden said about Rings of Power?
Yes, I did. That was great. That's
No,
why
what
they
did he say?
didn't bring him on. They didn't bring him on. He said it was awful. He said it was just bland and not real.
He said basically it's like it looks like a money-making venture. Doesn't something along the lines like it didn't have any soul. I think I'm paraphrasing that part, but he just basically said, I don't want any part of that. I'm like,
what an absolute king. Like he's a king in real life too, apparently.
Legend.
And
my buddy and I used to argue whose speech was better. His speech before they rode down and met at just outside of the White City, or Aragorn's speech before they stormed the gates.
I always went with Theoden. I thought Theoden's speech rang with me a lot more. But
Couldn't stand Aragorn's voice.
he couldn't stand.
I like Aragorn's one myself.
See, that's where I'm at too.
The words where he says, like, there might be a day when the like a heart of men shall fail them, but it is not today. And it's like, oh, I like that.
It is not this day. It's good. I just, I guess it's personal. For me, I like Theoden's a little bit more. It's a little bit more poetic, I think. It's a little more like he doesn't know if he's going to win or not. It's kind of cool. I don't know. I like it.
Well, yeah, but Aragorn didn't know if he was going to win either.
Hey, guys, isn't it amazing and isn't it fun when we can discuss about what thing was better between two great things?
Yeah, it's like that is between giants.
Foreign concept to me these days. It's just been picking apart.
Well, okay, then let's discuss whose Punisher was better, Mike Barron's or Chuck Dixon.
I'm out. I'm not.
I'm going to say Mike Barron's because I couldn't have done it without him doing it first.
There you go.
I'm going to say Chuck because I remember his stories, especially the one about the cab driver.
You guys are
Nobility of
gentlemen.
tears.
I love it. Look at the noble, chivalry of the guys are great.
Well, with that, I got to take off, guys. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks for joining, Chuck. We appreciate you.
Happy birthday,
See you again soon. Mike, keep fighting.
I am.
All right, man.
All right, so there's a couple of things I wanted to discuss, but also we usually try and start the stream, but we wanted to, give Chuck all the time because we only had him for a short time. So now we can take it now. We'd like to just give you some updates on how Shadow of the Conqueror is going. Mike, you have some sneak peeks.
I do. I'm going to go backwards. I mean, I don't know how many pages you want to share. I'll share them all because I'm just like
not all of them, but they're so good. You got to show the Central Station one because that is friggin' epic, man.
Okay. But Mike, do you know who I'm referencing here?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Badger?
No, the pose.
Jeez. That's a pretty good pose, Mike.
Professor Xavier is a jerk.
I don't know.
Paul Smith.
Who?
Do you want to share? I had no idea.
Smitty.
Smitty?
Mike told me that, and I was like, okay, cool. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Paul was my favorite artist when I was a kid. So
thank you. Yeah.
So this was from the episode where X-Men issue of X-Men where Kitty Pryde was pretty much the star of the whole show. All right. Anyways. Okay, maybe it's just for me. Never mind. Let's see. So yeah, this is a lot of crowd scene stuff right here.
Stunning art.
But this is
I would love to work with you someday.
That's the page that Shad's looking for.
Look at that. Oh, so that one took a little bit of back and forth to just kind of tweak and get right because it's hard to describe this type of building in the book, and Mike was trying to go off the text, and so I was like, all right, I quickly threw together like just the shape in SketchUp and sent it to him, and then he took that and Oh, it just looks great. It's so cool.
So yeah, we are up to page 20 out of 124, and then covers and stuff. So yeah, if we keep up this pace, I think April or May we'll be able to. Well, we've got the colorist Sonny has already got his flatter working on it on the existing pages, the first 20 pages, and he said that he will be able to start the final color stage in January. So really, I think when I'm done with the inks, it'll be about a month behind. The colors will be done. The letters can be done at the same time, so we should be ready to launch that campaign if we can figure out how to do that.
As a total layman, may I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sure,
How do you go for the comic book legends here? How do you go about choosing the color palette, or who chooses the color palette, or how do you come about that decision when making the book?
That's colorist. Nobody
That's
here's colorist except I mean I do color, but I'm not a colorist. So
but I mean, you've been a part of the process. Do you just say, here, colorist, here's a picture, color it in, make it look cool? Or
generally, and then when they turn in something I don't like, I say, no, that's not right. No, but a colorist, you always send them the script too, so they get the mood and the scene and the time of day and all that kind of stuff from the script.
Okay.
Right. And then if you're a really, really good colorist, like Sonny or Kelsey Shannon, they'll do I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a mood scale where they take all the pages and they do and they do this in Hollywood too, for when they're doing doing scenes layouts and stuff for the scenery or for scenes. That they do a mood coloring kind of layout first. So it's like if you want it to be a dark purplish, and it all depends on kind of the mood of the setting for each individual scene, and then they'll kind of do that. I know Kelsey does that. I don't know if he got it from Hollywood or what, but yeah, I really haven't asked a lot of other colorists what their whole play is. I know some guys just have a particular palette that they like to lean on, whether it's purples and oranges. I know a lot of the old Wildstorm guys would do that palette. But yeah, that's about all I got.
Awesome. Did you want to? How many pages did you get to show? Because I was trying to download some things to give people a preview
I think
as
that
well.
was 4. Here's page 16 here. Oops.
Oh yeah, the Sky Ship. So
Ship.
there was Sky Coach. That was another one where you had to get back and forth to try and nail down. Could you zoom in on the Sky Coach? Because man, I'm happy with what you did with this. So this, what I love about Volume 2 is that we're really getting to depict some of this kind of it's steampunk-ish elements, but it's not founded on cogs and steam. It's got the Dark Zone tech, but you get to see a lot of the awesome fantasy elements in Volume 2, and seeing the Sky Coach here and how you mixed in the old school design from because they build it out of wood and metal bracing, and it's kind of inspired by the old style stage coaches, but with this kind of
almost
fantasy.
Looks like something from Treasure Planet.
Oh, I should reference Treasure Planet.
It's a good reference.
I'm sorry. Well, because Mike's actually one of the few people who probably loves that movie, probably more than I do. But that looks like something that could be just, yeah.
Treasure Planet would be the right kind of feel, though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, totally.
You think of the ships that they had, because they were spaceships, but they were pirate ships, and going through space, and that's a really cool vibe. I dig that.
Yeah, you can't even see the whole thing on this one. Let's see if you can see it. It's smaller, but you can see it better here. Pay no attention.
Sorry, what? There was something else in that picture.
I missed that.
All
One.
right,
Hey, look at that! There's a ship in the background. Hey.
This is something I get from Carlos Pacheco, where it's like these are the subjects of the scene, right? And these are the people that are talking, but it's like they're entering into a wider scene. So it's like I play out the whole scene in front of them, and then kind of just put them in the background. I love it when he does that. Or when he did that.
That's
Rest in peace,
fantastic.
Like it's looking so good, Volume 2. I'm so pumped for it. Alrighty, so guys, of course, we have not forgotten about the fulfillment of Volume 1. That's what I've been working on, and I have some awesome things to show, just show the progress of what's been happening. So the covers have been done for a bit, and I gave updates on the covers and everything like that. But to get things, we sent it to the printer, but the printer came back, sorry, we need it in this specific format here, a template, and then I need to get the templates and stuff. And then I wanted to show, now I have like the final files that I'm sending to the printers, and there's some awesome stuff that I want to show everyone. Maybe we'll even snippet this out as like a separate video and post it on the campaign backers, send it to all the campaign backers so they can see the progress of where we're going with it. Because there were some interesting things that happened. For instance, there was an extra page because when you're binding the graphic novel and there's, what were they called? The group of pages are called a something.
Signature.
A signature, and like there's a signature of 6, a signature, and they're set numbers, and that's how they bind the book. And as a result, they have to conform to certain page counts to get the right signatures, and to fit it in, we weren't going to cut any pages, and so that meant adding pages, and we ended up having like 1 or 2 free pages that we can add additional bonus art. But I needed to get the printers really quickly, so how was I going to fill that? Well, I had some options. I had some concept stuff to do that I could add it in, but I have become also a bit of an aficionado on AI generated art, and I was able to use that to actually fill out some of these to give us great art, and also to show you. So I got some cool things to show everyone. I'll quickly share this. It's the window. Here we are. So this is one of the bonus pages of art that I can that's in the graphic novel, and so it's got Imperius with the background of one of the floating continents of Everfall. And so Imperius is my 3D model, but that's like a bonus, cover art that people will get for free, by the way. They don't pay anything extra. That's going to be in. So there's a whole new page.
Is this your art?
So the background's actually AI generated art, but with a lot of artistic input with photo bashing from in Photoshop, modifications, then finalizing and upscaling and all that. And so I had a very large amount of input to get that. But it's a completely unique piece of art that I was able to make thanks to AI technology. It's actually pretty amazing. And so there's a complete bonus bit of art that people will be able to get, but also check out. So I want to show the full covers that are going to the graphic novel. This is literally the file that we have sent to the printer, and so this is the novel. So not the graphic novel because we're doing a print of the novel. Check it out. That is the full cover, spine, and back of the novel. And look how good that looks.
Actually, it should be in a store. Like I could pick that up from a bookstore. That's how good it looks. Like it looks absolutely professional.
I'm so happy with how this has turned out. Now, this is like, if anyone's wanting to get into like, publication stuff like that, so that you need to get an exact template from the printer to get the spine thickness, and they calculate that by page count, and then they send you the exact kind of measurements, and then you need to format and everything. And so I worked like 14 hours straight to get a lot of these templates done and ready to send to the printer. And so that's just like, that's one of the novels. Here's one of the, I'll get to that one. Here's one of the graphic novels covers. And
when I was printing Dr. Alpha Miracle Child, I got delayed because everything was off by 1/4 of an inch. So
oh, really?
Oh, that sucks.
I hope we don't run into any of that. I tried my best to get everything down to the exact measurement.
The soft cover was fine. The hard covers we had trouble with. That was the one that gave us some headaches, but we got it done.
That back cover looks great. That's the first time I've seen it.
You haven't seen that? Yeah. Like, how good is that?
Yeah.
It looks spectacular.
I'm so happy with how these are turning out, man. And so, yeah, all the backers of the project, we are working very hard and dedicated to get all this done. Like I said, I had a 14-hour day straight, and then I did another like massive long day just finalizing everything, because I also wanted to improve the quality where I could to give you guys the best quality product I can. And so, for instance, even something as mundane as the copyright page, I'll show you. Like, this is the copyright page for the graphic novel. Like, instead of just text, I could put in a picture of Imperius, and with all the Photoshop effects, so you see the crystalline structure. And so that's the copyright page. And it's simple, but it's like, it's not just a plain copyright page. We want to make it, we want to lift the quality where we can. And so when we were coming to that,
and the credits there too, right?
so yeah, there are credits there as well,
Yeah.
you know, adapted by Mike Miller based on the novel by Shadow the Conqueror, and then it's got all the artist credits and everything. And so an important page. So that's absolutely going in there. And we have the artist black and white edition. And so, like, for the black and white, we got a black and white version. But I'll show you something else for the black and white. I'm really excited about some of this stuff. Okay, and so this is the sign page, and so it's here. Like, this is my area to sign, and this is Mike's area to sign. And so, how this is going to work is that the prince will actually send us these pages to sign in person, and then they get put into the books, and so it'll be a real signature. And we didn't want just a plain page, and so this is the Arc Knight symbol in higher detail, right there for the page. And so again, it's not just plain. But where I run into something interesting was the title page. And so the title page in the novel is part of the internal pages. And so for the novel title pages, it's black and white. It has basic logo. In actual fact, if I just jump back to my camera quickly. So the title page, for instance, on the first edition is just something like this. And because it's part of the regular pages, right, it can't be overly detailed or colored. And so the updated title page for the second edition novel that people got for the thing, it just has the new kind of thing, the new logo. But I realized with the graphic novel, all the pages, even the title page, are on high quality paper and colored. And I realized, oh, I could do something far cooler for the title page of the graphic novel. But I didn't. So this is where, like, we had a full panel discussion stream on the benefits and utilities of AI art. And we had Graham join us. Mike, sorry, I forgot Graham's last name.
Nolan.
No.
No,
Great.
Nolan. At the trilogy.
Yeah.
Shad, I'm going to have to bail. Thank you for having me
no
on.
worries.
Mike,
Thank
I'll
you so
talk
much
to you
for joining,
later.
Mike.
All right, Mike.
Thanks for joining, man. We appreciate you. So we had that full great discussion on AI art, and I was trying to share some of the utilities and benefits of how it can benefit creatives, artists, publishers, and stuff. And so I was in a position where I needed to do a cover page for the graphic novel, and it would either be plain, like just like the regular novel, but because it's great paper and we're paying for a color prints anyway, it wouldn't cost me anything more to try and make it better, except for the time and investment to make something better. But I didn't have the time. I didn't have time to commission a whole new piece of art or anything like that. And this is where AI art is actually quite phenomenal. And so I spent, and when I say it's not just a click, right? This took me almost half a day, hours upon hours of work to tweak, to remake, to edit in Photoshop, to put back in and everything like that, to try and give people the best quality product I could. And this is the cover page now for the graphic novel. Check this out. Have a look at that.
Yeah, man, that's a good freaking use of AI art, if you ask me.
It kind of looks like a poster for your animated series. Like,
Yeah.
It does. You could totally see Studio Ghibli doing something like this. Dead serious.
Isn't this freaking amazing? Like, this is a top quality piece of art. I didn't have the time to hire an artist, and there's also budget and things because the money is set to go to other areas and stuff. And so this enabled me to give people the best quality product I could. They don't have to pay anything extra to have additional art and now the cover page is like, it fits the graphic novel perfectly. And the cover page of the graphic novel is full print colored art where you get to see Everfall in an artistic picture floating in an endless sky. Like, you know, I was so jazzed about it. I was just like, because I want to give people the best quality product I can manage. And that I have extra tools to be able to do this really, really gives me a buzz. And so the version of the cover page for the artist edition, which is black and white, is we have it right here. So check this out for the artist edition of the graphic novel.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Really, really, really happy about that. And guys, this is just like, that's just a sneak peek. I have like over 30 different pages of publishing documents like that's going into that we've sent to the printer, and we're trying to set up a call to make sure that everything is good. They know what pages go where. We need to confirm the orders, because the next stage for the fulfillment is test prints, okay, because we need to make sure everything is printed correctly, and then the signing pages. And so there is a process to get this done. I wish we could just, here's the order, print them all, but no, I have to make sure the quality is up to scratch. And so we'll have to wait until they print the test prints, send them to me, and that's the test print of the leather bound as well. And there's going to be a bit of back and forth to make sure that is done perfectly. And so we're aiming for that fulfillment date, but even if we, I hope we can meet it. I hope we can get it in beforehand. But even if we can't, it's because we are constantly working on it, and we're not slacking off on anything, and we are getting things done through the process. So there is the update for where things are at with the fulfillment of Shadow of the Conqueror Volume 1.
Yeah,
Pretty
definitely
damn-
not slacking off.
Oh yeah.
It's like, we don't have extra time to do nothing.
we have just been going hardcore with everything. The Volume 2, getting things ready, like to print and working with the printers. It's pretty darn exciting, keeping me very busy, like crazy busy. But the excitement, the enthusiasm, and the fact that it's going to be such a good quality, I can't wait to get you guys your books. But there we go. That's the update, and it's a bit of a segue because I don't know. I AI art is kind of my hobby now. I have just been. I think it's an amazing technology, guys. It's we're seeing so, and
the controversy, Shad.
There is controversy
because I'm friends with I don't know how many 100 artists on Facebook, and this topic comes up all the time, and it is so one side or the other. And I've got artist friends who are deeply into AI art, and I've got artist friends who believe it's from Satan. It's like,
yep.
so,
Yep.
Going to be
Mary
replaced.
the twain shall meet.
So,
replaced.
may I ask you this question, Mark? Do you or have you thought of using AI art to combine with your art, kind of like how they used to do 2D and 3D together? Have you thought about doing anything like that for backgrounds or foregrounds or clouds in the sky? Have you thought about like something that you would use AI art for to enhance your art or do something interesting or new with your art, or no?
Well, on my NFTs, most of my NFT collections, I do use AI for backgrounds because it's like it's really not. It's just background stuff, right? And it's like it's the colored palette and whatnot, and you can choose. I mean, I can sit there and just spit out version and like find one that I like, as opposed to me taking all this crazy amount of time to literally paint the backgrounds because they come out looking painted, right? As for the comic stuff, no, because realistically in the comics, what you might be able to use is a 3D model. I mean, I know people that do that, like, but if I had the 3D model, I'd probably angle it and then screen cap it and then use it and then trace over it with quote unquote inks. It's all digital, but still, I mean, that's something that I would do. But it's like if you have a location that's supposed to be the same over and over again, AI is not cutting that. AI is not doing that, right?
No.
If it's like mountains or whatever, I mean, I can squiggle out mountains way faster than I could figure it out on AI.
How many years away do you think AI is from that?
I mean,
with
for me personally,
as good as it is now, I'm guessing 5 years until it's.
Well, no, but my point is that, like, for me, I don't think it would be fast enough at any point for me to replace what I'm doing, unless what I was doing, and I've done this in the past, like if I'm doing a book that takes place in a city, I've sat down and I've just drawn complete cityscapes and then cut them out and drop them into backgrounds. Right. So like nobody ever noticed. I even had to tell my editor once. I'm like, you not see that? And then once he saw it, he's like started recognizing like patterns and stuff. But in that case, yeah, if I could have AI just like create a cityscape for like if I'm doing a city thing and do that type of thing, that's one thing. But it really varies because it's like, especially like in a book like Shadow of the Conqueror, we're going from location to location to location.
Mhm.
I couldn't just have one city. It's like if you're New York, that's great. You want
Yeah.
all these different, New
Yeah.
York location things, but otherwise, no.
It's going to be a really useful tool that artists get to pick how much they want to for it to be involved in their art, enhance their art. But also, one of the greatest things for me, I think that this is doing is opening up accessibility for people who don't have budgets to be able to produce higher quality work. Okay, it also cuts time. Like for instance, look at this cover page, right? That was going to be a plain white background. I didn't have time to get anything done. Oh, look, it still took me like, 6 hours to get this piece finished, right? So it still took work, but I was able to do that, and I'm able to provide a better quality product as a result. And I think that is amazing. Like, I'm blown away by that. I just because I like sharing little projects that I've done. There's another application that I've discovered with AI art in between the live streams that I like is unbelievable to me. Okay, so the AI has trouble recognizing and reproducing faces, but there's a tool that you can do to get it to train a face, so it understands a face, and then it can reproduce that face in art and everything. And I did the dedication to do this, and I'm going to do it with my face, but my test one was actually my wife's face. And so I've trained the AI to know what my wife looks like. And just to give you an example, I will share.
That's not terrifying.
Okay. So I will share a photo of my wife and I on our wedding day. So don't worry, I've cleared it with her. And so
Yeah, you better have.
I better have.
It's gonna be fun. That Terminator comes out in a few years. Like, and it can mimic your wife's face.
My wife is truly the most beautiful person that I know. She's the most beautiful creature. This is her on our wedding day, and I'm almost more reluctant to share me because I don't like the way I look. So ready? Do you want to see me? Ready?
Yep. Do it.
Here we go.
Wow, you look like Primetime 99.
Yeah.
You look like Alex
He
Stein.
does. I need somebody to merge their faces. Legion of Memers, if you're here, I need that Shad merged with Primetime 99. And we will call it Shad Time 99.
So this is a real photo, okay? And my wife is just absolutely stunning. And on our wedding day, she was just immaculate. And so I grabbed photos from the wedding day to train the AI. And so remember, this is her face, okay? Mate, I would like to share some of the art that I was able to make with the AI. And it is, yeah. So first, it blows me away. So this is her as a knight, okay? That's a portrait, but that's an AI portrait of my wife, right?
That's not bad.
That's insane. Look at the quality of that.
I know.
That is,
It's crazy, man. It's freaking crazy.
like what? This is insane.
However, there's something. Okay, Mike, you're probably picking it up more so than I am, but there's something that doesn't feel like the natural stroke of a hand in that. And I'm sure you're picking it up more.
Depends on the art style, because look, this is like a pencil art style.
Yeah.
And so this is like old school painting art style.
Yeah, and also you're not getting like the full resolution either. So
Yeah.
Well, that's probably.
Star Trek. I was like, all right, let's. So the AI, the outfits are a bit mangled. You'll see, but all right. So fantasy barbarian. Okay, so
got a Gina Carano thing going there.
yeah. Superhero. But look at again, that's almost photorealistic. It's like, what the heck? And
How many photos of your wife did you have to use to train it?
you can start with like 6 to 10, but I actually fed in a lot. I really wanted the AI to, and I've got a chunky computer, and so I processed about like 30 pictures, I think, and it's like steps of processing, and it's like 5,000 steps of processing I ran it through to get it to really understand a face. And so then I was like, sci-fi.
What was your prompt for lightsaber in the side of the head?
I know. But this was sci-fi, and the sci-fi ones is when I wanted to move away from photorealistic and get more of like a digital art look. And this is where it starts to really like blow me away. Like this is like, oh wow, this stuff. Like, look at how amazing some of these portraits and faces look. Like, and I could feed it back in the AI to get rid of these strange artifacts in the background, so it's just a proper portrait. And I did that with some of them. So went back to night, and this is where I started to be more specific to try and get, better looking armor. And there's one that I almost want to put it on as a portrait on my wall. It is so stunning. Okay, anyway, look, this one is amazing as well. There's parts to improve, but the face of the AI generator for this one is just like.
Well, what's really funny about this is if you are like a highly skilled artist, I mean, and you are doing, asked to be doing the portrait, whatever it is, this is a great freaking starting point, because I see some of these things and you could just like, select a certain area, move it a little bit this way, twist the hand, and then paint over your own corrections, and like it's 90% there on a lot of these. And if you're a good enough artist to finish it off, it's like, wow, what a
well, see, Mike, that's exactly what I did. There's two pieces that I did that where I put it into Photoshop to make it as clean and finished as I could, and that required actually having artistic ability to do, like to move arms to get the right proportions in the liquify tool in Photoshop, to cut paste, to do all that stuff. And so to get an actual finished, almost flawless piece of art, you need to be an artist. You need artistic talent. Okay, this is not replacing art. In fact, it's a tool that artists can use to create some of the most insane things. And this is the piece. Look at this one. This is
it's almost photorealistic.
It's almost photorealistic, but the armor is like smooth and flawless. And so to get this level of polish and finish, it required a lot, like actually processing it, working with it and everything. But it is amazing. Like, this is a piece I would print off and frame on a wall. It is that amazing. Like, and I can't believe that. Like, I feel like I made it because it required so much artistic input to get right. But the fact is, right, like, I would never have gotten around to hire an artist to do something like this. Maybe it's one day, okay, but still, it would cost a lot of money. And this is high resolution now, by the way. Like, I upped the resolution on it, and to get like this commissioned, we're talking thousands of dollars that a lot of people can't justify the cost with. And this is like, I'm actually speechless at what this is capable of to get a result like this. Like, guys, we are seeing technology advance at such a crazy speed. This is like,
Mike, be afraid.
No. Mike will always have a job, and he'll be able to use it to like be an even more successful artist.
I'm an adapt or die kind of guy. I see this coming, and I'm like, all right, if I have to figure it out, I will.
So,
well, and
seriously,
you have the artist mindset too, so you are going to see the difference between AI artwork done from the artist perspective and guys who really are keen on it versus maybe guys such as yourself, Shad, you're figuring it out. I mean, and you may not be artistically inclined. We are going to see levels of the creativity when it comes to AI art, and we are going to see, I mean, it's the next pencil.
It is.
It's the next pencil. And
It is a leap in technology that I think a lot of people weren't ready for. We didn't predict it would come so fast, but it is the next big advancement that we see societies go through. Like this is, the invention of like the steam engine kind of thing, if you want to draw parallels and stuff.
No, if I
where the
drew a
world-
parallel, I would say it's the synthesizing of music.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
I was
like
going to go along
my-
with like the
yeah,
printing
my-
press.
My son can sit in there in his room and he just plays the guitar, right? But he can create an entire song with drums and freaking bass and everything, right? And it sounds like it's a full band. I mean, you could get it to the point where you're playing a full orchestra just on your computer, and it's like,
Which I know, and like, is that
are you
robbing?
putting the trombonist out of work? It's like-
Exactly. Or what? That is a great parallel, Mike. That is actually a great parallel. But what that actually has done has opened up accessibility for musicians to be able to make incredible musical scores and everything without needing to have a full orchestra. Like, who is in the position to be able to hire a full orchestra like that? And it's just given us great music in greater quantity, giving access to heaps of musicians. And I feel this is going to do that the same for many aspiring artists, many creative people that don't have budgets to be able to produce like incredible quality work. And traditional artists are still going to be making their stuff. They're still going to have work. I think people need to
it's
stop
going to
being
take jobs away from people.
To an
no doubt
extent,
about it.
but
But that's technology. That's every
but
level
the-
of technology
on the
has
corporate
always
level,
like,
it's
jobs
going
away
to.
from
I
people.
would say, perhaps, but I still think there's always going to be a market though for traditional art. Like
Right.
the market is going to be there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that this is the people who will lose the jobs, Mike, will be actually the people who are not the best amongst the art. Like for instance, there's a group of like low tier cover artists that make photo bashed cover artwork for aspiring writers. Okay, they usually charge $100 to $500 a piece. I explored this with Shadow the Conqueror to try and get an affordable cover. Okay, I actually hired one of these cover artists, paid $500 of money to get the cover, and it was crap.
Wait, was that
It
real
was-
money or was that
It
Australian?
was real.
money?
Oh, thank you. It was real to me, Mike.
Real fake.
So this is the thing, right? It would like if I use that as my cover, people would see my book and say that's an amateur piece of crap. Why would I even bother looking? People do judge a book by its cover, people. Okay, and the cover art is actually so crucial. People gauge the quality of the writing based on the quality of the cover art. It's like because professional published works that from the big publishers, they do get good cover art, but even having said that, sometimes they miss, and the cover art is dog crap, and book sales suffer as a result. But for the most time, that's the standard, and it's a high standard. And indie authors really struggle to meet that standard, and a lot of the cheaper cover art that you can commission and get does not compete. And as a result, there are so many indie works. I've been sent some. I see some everywhere where the cover is just really
No, it'll
poor.
get there though. This is what it parallels. When I was in college, I always drew comics and stuff like that. But when I was in college, I wanted to be a movie poster painter. Thank God I did not go be a movie poster painter, because at the time you had Drew Struzan, you had these other great painters that were painting most of the movie posters, right? And it was a great thing. They were getting paid a ton of money. And then along comes Photoshop. And now nobody paints covers. Nobody paints movie posters anymore. They're all just Photoshop, slapping together stuff and whatnot. And this is exactly what's going to happen with all those novel covers and with a lot of things that a lot of advertising. Oh my gosh. This is going to burn a lot of advertising artists.
Yeah,
Like,
I would.
in a hot minute.
Yep.
Within 5 years, that job's not even going to be a thing anymore. It's going to be prompters looking to create advertising.
They're all
the
going to have to
thing
come
is,
to the
though-
indie market.
The thing is, even in that,
what'd you
right?
say, Lit?
They all flood the indie market.
Well,
Indie market?
for covers, like I'll get back on that cover thing, because thing is, I lost $500 when I hired that cover artist. Okay, I needed that proper quality. Luckily, then YouTube started to take off. I was able to set aside money, and I got Chris McGrath phenomenal cover. So I'm in a position where I can hire some phenomenal artists, the best, and the best in the business will still have that job, I feel. But for a lot of these low tier, kind of lower skilled, people, I do see them losing their job. But the thing is, I also see the benefits that it's going to open accessibility and for indie authors and everything to produce higher quality work, which gives them accessibility, higher chances of success, sales, and all of that. And I feel that on balance is actually a net benefit overall.
It's going to make better book covers. I have a friend of mine, Brett. He's actually, I don't know if he still does it, but he used to be one of Amazon's cover designers. So when an artist or when an author goes to Amazon with a novel, most of the time they don't have cover art, right? And so they just get plugged into the system. It'd be like, and then it would drop on Brett's desk, and he's not an artist, but he knows how to use Photoshop, and he would just make these covers, with Photoshop, with, steal a candle here and a wave here and whatever it is, or not steal, but, buy whatever. And he'd get paid to just produce novel covers. And this is going to just be another cog in that wheel.
Well, also, when I say it puts those types of artists out of business, okay, it'll put that way of making covers almost redundant, the low-level covers. But the thing is, those photo bash, like a Photoshop people, right? They're the ones who could benefit the most from AI if they adapt and jump on board. Because if you feed in photo bashed kind of stuff and get the AI to then put it to a top tier standard, the results are nuts. I've done some of that to get the result that we see on screen right now. That required a bit of photo bashing between the different AI generated images. Like that Pauldron was really good on that, took it off, everything, fed it through to get a flawless result. And so if they embrace the technology, they won't be out of a job. In fact, they'll be some of the best people able to use this new tool to produce and actually compete, because those low tier artists, they were never able to compete with the the best in the business. Or maybe they actually will be able to make more money.
The guy that I watch on Facebook, because he's always posting AI stuff, it's Cedric Nacone. He's the guy that I was showing you his stuff. He's from Wildstorm and Top Cow, and he's totally embraced AI art, and his stuff, when he goes in and does the prompts, dang, it is freaking the dopest AI stuff I've seen. And this is from a pro comic book artist.
See, the stuff you can make is amazing. Let me show you some more. I'll quickly go through a bit. These are like Princess, there's a bit more of like a, a cartoon style. This one, I was like blown away. Like the face, the pose, I was just like, oh, wow.
Yeah, but she's got amazing. Midget arm.
Yeah, I could fix that. I can fix that. So Princess, that's far more photorealistic. These ones, this one was one of my favorite. The princess dress that it gave her was just incredible. And so there's a couple of those, and so this next one, right? This is the second one that I worked to get a finished result in a more animated kind of style, and I'm speechless at the end results. I was just like, oh my goodness, and so like it is absolutely my wife's face, and so I forget. I think it's this one that I currently have on screen.
Those are her delts too.
Hey, I would like she's a fantasy barbarian.
Look, I didn't show you all the pictures he used. Okay,
but seriously, like this is crazy. Like, look at the quality here. It's absolutely amazing. And again, so it's my wife's face, fantasy kind of barbarian, and look at the background, and like again, I'm just speechless.
Kind of like video game art.
Yeah, it's like video game art. Like it's nuts. It's like it's the invention of warp drive. I kind of compare it to, because it's crazy. And for me, right? Look at all, like, if I commit all of those pieces that I just showed, right? They're like, I don't know, to commission an artist to do all of that, the quantity I now have of these incredible portraits of my wife who I love, right, is just like, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars I would have needed to have spent to do that. And then to get a finished piece like this, with this level of quality in the color work, the background, the composition, what do you think I wouldn't have the money to justify on all these quantities, but what do you think you'd have to pay to get an artist to make something like this, Mike? Like, I think
I mean,
thousands.
yeah, I mean, it depends. Obviously, it depends on the artist, but $500 to $2,000 each.
Yeah. Yeah. And people might say, oh, that's like, when you say that, I would have had to pay to get an artist and therefore I'm robbing the artist. No, I never would have had the spare money to justify hiring an artist to do that. This is not robbing an artist as a job, not at all.
Like the argument about outsourcing comic book artists down to Brazil, because you can get, you could get a full team in a Brazilian studio for like $150 a page or something like that, versus are you just not going to get your comic book done at all because you don't want to outsource it? What are you going to do?
So exactly, I see actually huge benefits to this, and I genuinely, this is a piece of art that I would frame and put on my wall. It is that stunning, and I love putting myself into fantasy worlds and everything. So I'm next. I'm going to train my face, and
I'm looking for the buff Shad.
Oh, I can't wait! Arnold Schwarzenegger build, man. I'm just like,
use that meme picture you got there. the Shad.
Oh man, it's just so fun to do that. And the quality is, again, like my mind is blown. Wow, yeah, that's what I've been doing. And it's just,
just get all your characters and put them in front of that picture from earlier. Was it like an animated series? You can call it like Dalen and the Masters of Everfall.
Well, see, the problem, AI has a very strong limitation still with specificity. Like, I don't know. I think there might be a way for me, like, to train, say, a specific character, like, and understand, say, how Superman looks with the S and everything. I don't know how to do that for a full character to be consistent in the design. So I think you probably could do it, but that one is still beyond me. Who knows? We'll see. But I don't really need it to have the AI generate images of Dalen, because I'm working with Mike right here, and he's doing a phenomenal job, and a better job than the AI, because in terms of like getting a specific design consistent with the AI, I don't even know, and it has a lot of trouble. Just all these, like, you can really see it with the sci-fi kind of designs. It just spacesuit, and then it did heaps of different spacesuits. They're cool designs, but they're not the same design. Do you see this? Like, they're all different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're all different. And so if I had like a set specific uniform spacesuit that I don't know how to get it to lock on and do the same thing.
The sci-fi ones make me think about All-Star.
Yeah. I could use it for concepting, and I'm going to be concepting All-Star ideas with the AI, and that's just going to be a great body of reference material that I can then hand over to the artist who I do hire to draw All-Star. And that's a phenomenal tool. That's amazing. So specificity on the design. I don't know. I can't do it yet, and I don't even know if it's capable of that. And then picking an exact pose is really hard. There are ways. Some people use like a 3D model, and they pose the 3D model in the position they want, and then they export like an image of that pose into the AI. But then the AI has heaps of trouble latching onto certain things. For instance, if you have hands in front of your body, and you give it too much, it'll merge the hands in the body and make a mutated kind of thing. And so it has real trouble understanding depth perception and poses. Real trouble. And so, yeah, and look, the technology is advancing pretty fast, so they probably will be able to figure out ways to do that, because this is what it's capable of now. And look how fast the technology has evolved even now. It's a bit crazy. It's a bit crazy. But anyway, this is one of my other favorite ones that I made of the AI art. It's like, man, like look at the color and lighting. It's like, what?
Yeah, the coloring on these things is phenomenal.
It's yeah. So thank you for indulging me, gentlemen. I like sharing. This is the weird thing, right? People try and say that I don't know.
We have lost 150 viewers.
Oh. People say that it robs
they went
people
and
of
clicked on those Thoughtbot
expression.
links down in the comments. They were like, "Oh, they're like, AI art," and then it was like, "Hey, free date me." We'll get to a further discussion, but I just want to say about
the artistic expression, right? This genuinely, I am so satisfied and have such artistic fulfillment with what I was able to make with this tool. For me, I actually feel a lot of ownership over this because one, it takes to nail down the correct prompt and to feed it and to tweak and everything. There's so much artistic input. I actually feel that I was very much, well, no, that's an objective fact that I was a part of the artistic process in creating this, right? The AI doesn't make it on its own. It needed me to put the, and so I'm actually almost seeing it as a really advanced tool for me to create art, and I have ownership over this, and I feel huge artistic satisfaction in the results. Like I'm as excited about, like I'm actually probably more thrilled about this than many of the things that I've tried to hand drawn because it helps me reach a quality that is beyond my ability, and that thrills me. It's pretty.
It's
amazing.
also it's going to create a different industry as well for like particularly for like D&D customs.
Oh my goodness, yes. Like for instance, right? Mary, my wife, she joins me in videos, and we use like an avatar image when she speaks, and we've just grabbed whatever images from pop culture and
You
stuff
mean your
like
wife's
that.
not Gal Gadot?
No, she's not. But guess what? We have a tool now. We can make custom avatars for her when she joins me in videos. She's extremely camera shy and will never appear on camera. But now we have the AI tool, and she can join me like with her face. That's great. And it's an additional tool that I can do for that. But also, D&D art, right? Like D&D characters and stuff. You can get like some absolutely amazing like character art that you don't need to fork out insane amounts of money. And like, you're absolutely right. There's so many uses that people will be able to have, and it's exciting. It's fun.
Yeah. And it's not so much that it's taking jobs, that's what kind of like people are complaining about. And it's transferring the jobs. It's someone else is still going to have to do that because it's not as simple as just going on an AI system and just plugging in a few words. You have to learn all of this stuff. And so the people that do learn it and can produce, those jobs will just be going to those people. And if they're the same people, like I said, Nokon, he is an illustrator, he is an artist, and he is the guy I know who's the deepest into AI. When those jobs come, that's going to open up possibilities and income for him. But he's just utilizing it as a tool.
How hard would it be to if you were going to make your own comic book? You don't have the funds. You're going to make your own comic book. How hard would it be to make like each and every page and then keep it consistent? I mean, with AI art,
you couldn't do it now.
Yeah, it wouldn't seem possible to me, at least not easily anyway. It might take a long time to do it, if at all.
I recently did a video with my brother. So just guys, there's actually already graphic novels that are 100% AI made. My brother showed me. I don't have the link, but I did a video with Jazza from Draw with Jazza. It's coming out today, I think, actually. It's a deep dive AI discussion with my brother, and I'm showing him the techniques I use because I know how to use AI even more than him because I've been going down this rabbit hole, and I'm like, as you can see, having lots of fun. And so I actually show him the techniques and stuff that I've learned, and his mind gets blown in the video, but he does show me that it's interesting that the type of graphic novels that are made with AI art is mostly atmospheric kind of background stuff. With more generic kind of designs like person in a spacesuit where that can get more easily repeated and things. So you can definitely see that they're working, they still have huge limitations.
Yeah, my mind goes to like the stuff that I do.
It is not on that level. No, you're right. It's
I
not
have
on
heard
that
about
level.
some people doing graphic novels where they use AI art for backgrounds and stuff like that. That is definitely possible because it's a little easier, but like characters, movement, action, things like that you see in your everyday comic book or your usual graphic novel, I'm not sure how easy that would make to a convincing degree and on a regular, like uniformly accurate degree. Like they all look the same, like they're all part of the same story, it's part of the same art, panels, everything, layout, organic layout, very engaging layout, things like that. How hard would that be? I mean, how easy would it be to make that happen in AI? At least right now, to me, it would seem like it would be incredibly difficult and take a lot of time.
It would actually, like, to get like the layout of the panels on a page, that requires such like really specific and subtle understanding of how to tell a story visually that an AI would have like. simply won't be able to compete with a talented human for a very long time. And even when it can compete, I don't think it'll be able to do better work at all. Like Mike blows me away with his layouts, okay? Picking the right ways to get the story to flow between panels. That is an art form in and of itself that comic artists learn and develop. And that requires such subtle
the good ones
understanding
do.
of pacing. Yeah, exactly. You're right. But Mike has that. And so, that's the best are always going to outshine the AI, and I don't think it'll because people say that it'll get to beyond human level technology. Understanding. I don't know. I think we might actually hit some brick walls in its development, but there are more optimistic people about that.
Because AI art is, I mean, it's good for like single pictures and stuff like that, like a portrait or something like that. But when it comes down to comics, interiors anyway, when it comes to the actual story, it takes a mix of knowledge of both art and storytelling to get a comic book to where you need to go to be entertaining and enthralling and stuff like that. So AI art might be able to get some pictures fine, but when it comes to paneling and pacing and layout and all that stuff, I'm not really sure how easy it's going to be to make a whole graphic, like traditional graphic novel, not just backgrounds. I mean, characters, action, all that stuff.
Yep. Picking the right emotion for the right panel based on what they're saying, especially in the expression. This is all really subtle stuff that requires deep kind of understanding of character, pacing, story, emotion that people understand and develop throughout their entire life through interacting with people. And a person is always going to be able to do that better, I think.
I just don't think it'll ever get there. Because even it's been how many years or even decades since we've had 3D models that people have been able to pose, right? And it's like every time you have a 3D model, someone's trying to pose in a scene, it just totally looks like a model that's being posed. It doesn't have the fluidity and the organic qualities.
Yeah.
And even if you're combining, say you have an AI and the AI creates a fantastic costume and uniform, creates a character, right, through all your prompts, and then you take that character and you mold it into a 3D model so that it has a consistent form, you're still going to be stuck with these really stiff characters. Looseness, being able to draw organic and loose characters is something that I just, I mean, they've been trying it for as long as people have been using this kind of stuff, not just the AI, but the 3D stuff. And I mean, you can even tell when people are tracing over 3D models and try, because the what's the word? It's I can't remember the freaking word. It's escaping me, but it's you throw down the first line of how that figure is going to flow on the page. That's not, you build on top of that. The 3D model is already done.
Yes.
The gesture. 3D doesn't understand gesture. AI doesn't understand gesture. So you'll never get there. I mean, I'll never say never, but
it'll be a long way off at least. Like,
it's not working.
Yeah. Absolutely. So thank you for letting me indulge me. But just to answer the person where someone was doubting that this was my wife's face, and so I was like, all right, I'll show my wife's photo one last time to show that it actually is absolutely her, and that the AI. I'm actually still stunned at how well it was able to learn her face and reproduce it in the art. Don't mind the ugly guy standing next to her, but like it grabbed her face and processed and understand it so perfectly that it was able to remake it in all those AI images as you saw, and I'm still in awe of what it was able to make. It was just
Alex.
Wow. Yeah. So thanks. That was so much of a segue. It's one of the more longer segments on the stream. So bit of a hard segue, but guys, did anyone see the Indiana Jones 5 trailer?
Nope.
Oh yeah, with the time travel and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. It's gonna be great. Be fantastic.
would
It's
I
gonna be an epic movie. If you don't like it, you're racist or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. We review. I did a trailer reaction on Night's Watch. Oh wow.
I'm gonna be honest. A couple people have done trailer reactions to it. I'm not even watching the trailer reactions.
I can't wait for another movie about ancient Indiana Jones. This is gonna be it's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna go see it. I'm
see.
absolutely gonna go see it
Yeah,
because he looks just like my dad, and my dad's gone. And every time a Harrison Ford movie comes out, I see it.
So
I wanna
Mike
see it.
knows that I'm ageist, apparently.
Well,
And I've made several videos about actors and as they age coming back into roles that they made when they were younger. And this is especially true with Harrison Ford. They're not the same iconic actor that they were when they were 30 years younger, 40 years younger. I mean, Harrison Ford were 50 years younger. Like, the guy is getting, was he in 80s now?
I think he's died making this movie.
Yeah. And
I mean,
I've even had qualms about Hugh
a couple
Jackman
times.
coming back as an older Wolverine. I have qualms about, Johnny Depp continuing on as Jack Sparrow, is because as these characters are immortalized in time through the films that we have seen. And what worries me about the storytelling is that obviously the human body that we have now isn't going to stay the same forever. No matter how many times we inject it with whatever we want to try to stay younger, the bones and the tendons and the muscles don't want to work the same way. And not only that, you keep injecting with all that fake stuff, you just stop looking like that character. And what worries me is not just the ability of these actors to control the muscles the same way that they used to in their acting and their faces and their expressions and all that. But what worries me is that you do this one thing that they do all the time, and you rip a character out of timelessness and bring him into the modern day or the modern time. And that's why I have an issue with some of these older actors continuing on with some of the roles that they made absolutely prolific 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
I get what you're saying. I actually think you have a valid point here, but I can see both sides a bit because I understand, like, I mean, you would expect the character to age, and sometimes it would be fun to explore what would the character do, as they age. But at the same time, the Indiana Jones archetype, the character in your mind is a young archaeologist doing like badass things, punching people and stuff. And to make another Indiana Jones film, having him such an old man doesn't feel like an Indiana Jones film. I'm not going to be able to. It's hard for me to accept that such an old guy's. They're going to have. We've already seen in the trailer. There's CGI him on a horse and things, and it all looks fake. And they're going to have him do stuff that you just think, it's more unbelievable seeing such an old guy do that. It's in the same way that it's a bit unbelievable to see 5-foot girl who only weighs barely 70 kilos being able to punch the crap out of a guy, kick him, and they go flying. It's like, having a bit of muscle and weight is important to be out. And it's the suspension of disbelief that you have trouble,
If I may, the only people at an old age that I know that can still do what they did when they were younger, and I mean this in all sincerity, are farmers and ranchers and construction workers. And that's because I grew up around
those guys. Those guys are just.
It don't matter how old they are. They don't care. They don't.
Sorry.
When they work, they don't feel pain.
They got old man strength.
Dude,
my dad's actually like that, but he has limitations.
Mine too.
He has limitations though. He can't do what he did when he was young, but he still is a workhorse. He's an absolute.
Would you fight him?
I think I could beat him. He's old now, but
you think you could beat him?
My dad.
I don't think I could.
Actually, my dad, he's still strong, man. He's like
I was gonna say, them old guys, man. But there's a hardiness. There's a strength there that. Going into the real world people that do and still do, and they build and they craft and create and they care for the land. these actors don't have that. I would say one of the few, and actually Literature Devil, you were talking about him either today or yesterday on your stream, as much of it as I could catch, but Sylvester Stallone's probably one of the few guys.
He's
that
really
I
old.
believe- he is getting old,
but he can still do stuff.
He got in shape for like when he came back for Rocky. But
I mean, even for the Rambo
from-
movies, like he's a guy that because of his physique and
that's a
his
good
age,
example. Yeah, that's a good example of when I was saying sometimes it would be interesting to see what these characters would do when they get a bit older. And I think you probably could pull it. Yeah, I think they pulled it off a bit better with Sylvester Stallone's characters, like in Rambo and stuff. It's harder for Indiana Jones, and I actually think if they wanted to continue the franchise, the best way that they would have been able to do it is if they recast him and have it like just maybe a couple of years after, or not even a couple of years, maybe 1 year after, and just continue the story, kind of like what they've done with James Bond since the beginning. Like, you know, he's an ageless character now.
But that's hard to do with because they haven't done it with, you know what I mean? Like they've been doing it with James Bond since the beginning. It's kind of like we get a different Batman every year, right? Everybody just accepts that in 5 years, we're just kind of a new actor playing Batman. It's fine, whatever. They haven't done that with Indy.
But you can understand, it's the smart move to do, I would say.
But it's smart and dumb simultaneously because it's the smart move to do for casting, but it's not the smart move to do for the fan base because only this one guy has ever been Indiana Jones. And a lot of people may have issues with that if that guy can't nail Indiana. And I don't think that they know who Indiana Jones is anymore.
Well, in this era too, what's going to happen? It's going to be like Tom Holland playing Indiana Jones.
Oh my god, that's like when they made him play Nathan Drake. I didn't even see the Uncharted movie.
He's going to be playing Zorro too.
When I say recast, I don't mean recast with a woman or someone that doesn't fit the role. But they would. You know they would.
Well, they're already trying.
Well, they're trying to do it. Yes, they're trying to set up a replacement. Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah. But no, and like I said, I don't mind seeing aging actors continuing on with fantastic roles. I mean, Sam Elliott, the guy I swear is immortal. But Sam Elliott.
Time you saw Sam Elliott, though.
Yeah, but and then you go to oh come on, Dirty Harry,
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. He was not young, but I remember watching him in Gran Torino. Oh my god, and that
this is
wasn't
different.
necessarily
This is just
action-packed movie.
Yeah, but that's an aging actor taking on more mature roles, not a aging actor taking on the same character in a set franchise, which makes it a lot harder and different. Because again, the quintessential Indiana Jones is the first three films. Okay, that sets the standard of what is, and they're going to try and reproduce that in this film. And I think his age is going to make it hard for me to swallow. By the way, I'm going to say something about the last one. Well, I after the last one, I checked out. There's technically only 3 true Indiana Jones films.
I didn't like
my biggest issues was the alien thing, and I was much younger when I saw it.
I did say I would take that level. I would take that level dumb and bad any day of the week versus the propaganda-ridden crap we get nowadays.
I'm an Expendables fan. I love the Expendables. Yes,
give me old bad, please.
Expendables are awesome. I like both movies. They're great.
Well, the third one was really. Actually, I will say this. Okay, Lit Dev, yes or no? I actually thought Mel Gibson played a really good villain in the third one.
Mel Gibson almost plays a great villain.
He's really good at it. Really good.
He's a great actor and a great director. And does he get enough credit for? Because dude, he directed Hacksaw Ridge. That's one of the greatest films I've ever seen. I still
haven't seen it. I need to see
Hacksaw Ridge. It's so freaking good,
dude. He's also a really good villain. I think in Machete, Machete 2, Machete Kills.
Oh crap! I haven't seen that.
He's a really good bad guy in that one too, I believe.
I still probably hold Lethal Weapon 1 as one of my favorite action movies of all time.
I love movie where he plays Santa Claus is freaking awesome.
Oh, you saw that one? I didn't see that yet.
It was great.
I gotta see it. I have a trouble. I have an issue with veering away into anything Christmassy. Like I love that some of the traditional Christmassy stuff, and I kind of don't veer into the other stuff. We actually just
Dude,
showed
it's
my.
so good. You should watch it. It's
All right,
really.
all right.
So Royce, Die Hard. Is it a
It's a Christmas movie. Don't even ask. Stop.
Absolutely. Christmas movie.
all
Without-
right. Well,
without a
you
doubt.
blew your whole case then.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie. What are you
One
talking
thing,
about?
one mistake. I
There's
think we're
joy
doing
and
with,
hope and family. Like that's everything that.
Lots of
Go
Christmas.
to the coast. To the...
I like. Why are people so desperate to say it's a Christmas movie? Just because
It
it's
is.
in Christmas?
It's
It
not
is.
desperation. It's true.
I don't know. Like
It's got togetherness.
Exactly. It's got together.
it
There's
brought
camaraderie,
definition.
companionship.
Yeah.
bullets, broken
it-
glass.
If Hans Gruber was trying to destroy Christmas and he stopped him from doing it, I would agree.
I just
It's a hot take. I guess not many people know that. Like for me, I feel definitions are important, and I don't like over broadening definitions where you can make things fit in. When you hear Christmas,
I don't
movie,
either. I don't
think
either.
of a movie about Christmas, not a
Uh-huh.
movie that is during Christmas
There,
time.
there is a
I
part of
mean,
the movie where he's like, I
He
got a machine
gave
gun
like
now.
35 people the gift of life and not dying. Like that's a really baller
He gave
Christmas
a
present.
dozen or so the gift of death.
Not the cocky. The cocky didn't
mean-
make it, but there was a
That
part
was-
in there
Ho, ho, ho.
where he's like, I got a machine gun now. Ho ho ho.
Ho, 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 ho.
There you go. See, Santa Claus
That,
reference?
that was Alan Rickman's second best movie.
Ho,
What's his first
ho,
best?
ho.
Quigley
wait,
Down
wait, wait.
Under.
Oh, wait, what?
No. what
Quigley
are you
Down
saying?
Under.
No, his
What?
best film is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
No.
Oh,
Easily, I'm going to cut your heart out with a spoon.
I don't know.
His greatest performance, bar none.
Quigley Down Under. You're Australian. How dare you? Quigley Down
Oh,
Under.
it's just
is
full of
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
stereotypes.
Wait,
You
that
know,
was with
I freaking.
who was
sorry,
the
just
lead?
sorry,
Wait,
sorry,
wait, I might be agreeing with Shad. I'm trying to agree with you, Shad.
Okay, go,
No
quickly.
agreement.
Remind me, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Was that Kevin Costner?
All right, all
And,
right. I'll jump on that because I just wanted to segue
Yeah.
because like Mike was bringing
That's
up Australian
right, that
films,
was
right?
him.
Right? I like. Man, I
no,
freaking
that
hate,
yeah,
like,
that might.
generally, I hate Australian films because even Australians, they make us into stereotypes. I tried to watch The Dish, which is about the Australian involvement in the moon landing, and they make Australians look like friggin' inbred morons. And it's Australian films. Like, what is this crap?
Okay,
What is
One more
it?
ship on the
Anyway,
Barbie.
going back
Okay,
up to Royce's
Crocodile.
comment.
No, you can't drop that. Crocodile Dundee. I have to know.
He's more tolerable. Is more tolerable than others. Do you know how many people hated Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter in Australia? Like
Oh, I'm sure
barely
quite a few.
anyone liked him because he was just a living stereotype that made us look like crocodile.
No,
But when he died, a lot of Aussies like acknowledged, you know, he was actually a really good father and he did good work and stuff like that. But when he was alive, every single person when he ever came up would just take the mickey out of him and didn't like him for
got
his put on accents.
Stabbed in the heart by a stingray. It is the most Chad way to go out in the history.
No.
I disagree.
Look,
I
look,
disagree.
it's tragic.
I
It's
highly-
tragic, but it's the most "we told you so" way. Like there were
Yeah.
There
There was a
cartoons in high school. There were cartoons made making fun of him when he was alive about he was way too reckless with animals, and it's like, oh, this is a really dangerous kind of thing. What should you do? Options. And it's like poke it with a stick, try and kiss it, everything. And every time you did it, he would do it, and the animal would kill him. And then it was like the last thing, leave it alone, right? Those were the memes, and they were making fun of him do it. And when I heard that, it's tragic. It is truly tragic. I'm not trying to undermine that, and especially heart goes out for his family. But when he died from the same thing about messing too close with dangerous animals, is like.
I saw an Australian comedian years ago, and we're probably talking 15, 16. This is well before he died. And he goes, and he was talking about the same thing, and he had this whole comedy bit about Steve Irwin. And he's like, you know, people get a bad rep, you know, or Australians get a bad rep, you know, they'll like show this, they'll watch this like wild nature show about like Australia, and he was totally referencing Steve Irwin. He didn't say it, but he totally was. It's like they'll show the Sydney Opera House, the beautiful look over the bay there, and just it's gorgeous. And then they'll go to some madman in the outback, and he's like, "Oh, there's a dangerous snake over here. I'm gonna poke it with a stick just to see what happens. I will never forget that comedy skit. It was amazing, and I apologize for my absolutely terrible Australian accent.
It was as bad as his accent, though. He put it on. Well, I felt like he put it on.
Did
But
he?
the accuracy of the stingray to get him in the heart. You know, stingray like right there.
Right.
I mean, come on. What a way to go.
Look, that is one way to go out, and he went out like a hero.
It's one way.
Say. But I would say, you know what's better than going out like a hero? Not dying early at all and not being so.
I know, but seriously, if Steve Irwin,
do you think he loved what he did? I think he loved what he did.
Right?
Do you think
I mean, standing hot.
Yeah.
Stingray.
Run up on top there.
That's one thing that I don't think you could say about Steve Irwin is he didn't love what he did.
Oh, he definitely.
I think he found a way to be a good showman about it.
Really good father, and that was the most tragic thing about the loss of the father to his family. Right, that was just truly heartbreaking. And he actually did a lot of a lot of conservation work that would deserve to be remembered and respected and things. And that came out upon his death. All the hating that he got, even from us Aussies, when he did die, we all saw it as a great tragedy and acknowledged the good work that he did do. But when he was alive, people were really pissed off with him because of spreading further stereotypes of us being crocodile wrestling country redneck hicks, right?
America loved him.
Like when he fed the crocodile while holding his child, there was outrage over here about that. Like people
and even a lot of us over here in America were like, dude, bro.
Yeah, we were just like, Australians are crazy.
Well, see, and Aussies hated him for making us look like that. And so there was a lot of hate he got for that.
Dude, how do you think we Americans feel? We have Hollywood.
Hang on, that's true. But you've got great stereotypes of freedom-loving, burger-eating guys with guns in front of the American flag.
America, freedom, baby.
Hold on, freedom. A second. So just
America.
Answer me this. If you've
Yeah.
ever done your genealogy, and I have, my family came over here in 1611. If you've ever done your genealogy, what was the crime that your ancestor was brought over here for?
My ancestors
loving
were
freedom too much.
Okay. So my ancestors actually came over in the late 1700s. Michael Sandon was, and I actually have the book. The chronology all the way back to the 1700s. He was a notary, came over. And for the most part, my family was settled on the island of Nova Scotia up in Canada. It was not until what is known as the expulsion of the Acadians, because British are dicks. The expulsion of the Acadians, you guys can go look that up. It was actually an event in Canada where the British decided to be extra pissy that day.
We're all Brits if you go back far enough.
I know. Yeah, well, you're probably not wrong. And a lot of the French in the area, and mostly descended from France.
I still consider Australians a type of Brit. We have the Queen on our money, and we're still part of the Commonwealth, and so we're like.
Wait, so you're like less than Canadian because they tried to kick her out.
You have the King on your money now? Haven't they fixed that?
I don't know. I don't know if they've fixed that.
Oh, that would be interesting, actually.
They're going to. Marcus just let me know they're going to be putting a king.
Him.
Like Charles.
Shad, did you get a new microphone?
Why? Yes.
Is it the SM7B?
I don't know. I have no idea. Nathan,
private chat. I'm actually looking at microphones. I'm highly.
Do you like this one? It works good. These ones are good.
No,
I actually feel like Elizabeth was trying to hold out until Charles died.
Like, I actually liked Elizabeth. I thought she was like doing her duty and tried to, be like a good, honorable person as much as she could. I'm not saying that there's no areas for criticism, but if you want to look for areas of criticism, just what the whole marriage situation. Wow,
sovereign.
What you expect me to respect this guy? Not happening. Oh my goodness. Wow, this is actually a lot of fun segues because you were wanting to say something about Robin Hood, Royce, and then we got onto the whole.
I actually
Sorry,
I
No,
actually
but come
think
on,
I
for
agree
going
with
down
you.
under, Shad, you gotta.
Okay. Just to end off on the stereotype things, right? I actually think some stereotypes are fun when they're founded on some, actual like true things. Like, for instance, Australians drinking too much alcohol and mispronouncing everything. Absolutely make fun of us to the days come home. But the whole, crocodile hunting, like redneck thing, that just bothers me because it's so not true. And it's just,
Well, it's gotta be true. It's not all of Australians, but we have Duck Dynasty here. It's not like
I
Yeah,
guess
that's
some.
true.
I guess
Australia
some.
thinks
And
that
that's
No,
why
no,
they
no,
like
no.
in America.
they like Steve
Reggie,
Irwin
you have
because he
no
was like a
idea
real
how
life
much people get-
crocodile hunter guy.
I like the stereotype of Americans apparently around the world that we're awesome, and then like it spawned the whole idea of be the American that the Japanese think you are. And I like that.
Oh, good sir. No, what I was gonna say about the Robin Hood Prince and Thieves, that's Kevin Costner.
You be careful,
and,
Royce. I love this film. You be
no,
careful.
no. That's actually one of my favorite Costner films. I actually love that because it's one of the few Robin Hood movies that gets slightly right the Robin Hood mythos, because he didn't steal from the rich and give to the poor. He took back from the corrupt government and gave that money back to the people.
Yeah,
it's one of the few, and
it's anti-taxation. Robin Hood is anti-taxation.
Yes,
anti-theft.
and that's I hated the Russell Crowe one. Oh my
I love that
god,
Love that.
oh.
That
But again, it was just.
I
one
get
of the
what
few
you're saying.
movies-
It's actually inaccurate to the traditional Robin Hood tale
Yes,
that
it is.
has, like, if you want to know the most accurate Robin Hood story that follows the traditional Robin Hood tale, it's actually the Disney one with the animals. Believe it or not.
The
infamous one. The one that spawned a legion of furries.
I watched
Yes.
that endlessly on VHS.
Like,
when I was a
Dev,
kid.
is that like what do you call it when you have a pandemic and you have the origin of where it starts?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
patient
like
zero.
Patient zero. Is that patient zero for the furry?
It's one of them. It's one of them.
Love that movie.
They
And
loved Robin Hood in that one. Not necessarily Maid Marian, but Robin Hood is the one that gets all
Robin Hood
that.
and Little John running
attention.
through the forest.
I love that. I love that so much. And I will say this, and a scene that has stuck with me on that one since I was a kid is when the little Squire Church Mouse, Friar Tuck, has to pull that last gold shilling out and give it away.
Can I interrupt? Damn it. Someone just called me on the chat and they have a point. Damn it. Let me see if I can bring it up.
I hear you cuss rarely.
No, it's that one.
Like a snake with a sword.
Damn it!
Yeah. It wasn't a crocodile.
It wasn't a crocodile.
You see this snake over here? I'm gonna poke it with my sword.
A very point sword. It stick very good, so
There's a video.
I mean, it's a really good stick. It's a sharp stick.
It was
Very
a very
good sharp
you
stick.
could call it a type of stick. Absolutely.
Stick like weapon.
Look.
We
fighting
rednecks. We rednecks use
That's a
snake shot.
stereotype. That's a stereotype that has some validity. Needing to fight the Australian outback constantly to survive. Okay. I can grant that one. Just a little bit, just a little bit, maybe. Okay, fine.
I'm just.
Sorry, you're saying, Royce. I cut you off.
No. It's just. But no. Like I will say, like the Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. No, that's I might agree with you that could be up there in one of Alan Rickman's best roles because he
steals the film.
I thought it was cartoonish.
Oh man, you break my
but you're not wrong.
Mike.
But you're not. Okay, come on, dude. But everything in that.
You know what?
Was that 80s?
I think, and as much as I am a fan of Kevin Costner, but I freaking thought that was the worst cast Robin Hood in the history.
Look,
of Robin Hood.
I actually agree. He doesn't come off as an Englishman. The thing
No,
that
he
I
comes
love.
off as like he's from
Yeah.
Brooklyn or something.
I
and
know,
He didn't
I know.
even try. He didn't
thing
even
is,
try.
Scarlet. There was no.
I
That made it
love
better.
Prince
He's
of
American.
Thieves. It's such a great heroic tale. Hang on. It deserves more credit because if you want to see a film that has such the great damsel in distress hero coming in and saving her with like a really great bad guy and like the classic, true like hero fighting for the little guy, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves has it in spades, man. Like,
okay.
Mary Elizabeth
Shad,
Master Antonio. great Maid Marian.
You may hate me for this, and I don't know, but one of my favorite films growing up, and a lot of people don't know about it. It was simply called The Musketeer, and it was actually a young
Absolutely.
D'Artagnan. Okay,
know
thank
that.
God,
I,
Lit
I,
Dev.
I, in fact, I just rebought that movie on DVD because you can't find it's nowhere to be found. But
No,
it's
it's
fantastic.
nowhere. I love that movie. My wife used to love to go to the Renaissance Festival.
Oh,
and I always
that-
told her,
that's-
In fact,
That's
I
the
will-
one where they throw in like Chinese style sword play and action
Sort
scenes.
of,
Is
yeah.
that the
Actually, in
one?
fact, I wanted Shad to go over the last battle in that one and do like.
I might need to rewatch it. I need to
Chad,
rewatch that one.
I
last
love
one.
that movie. If you cover that movie, please, I'll rewatch it. I would love to cover that movie.
I
with
might-
you. I
I've
love
watched it
because
once.
Because
And
the last
then
battle one with the
long
ladders,
time.
it's really cool.
what was
Yeah,
what
well,
was
all
his
because I
name?
said
The evil
Quigley
guy.
Down Under.
He goes, you know, I've been called mad 3 times. He's like, I've been called mad by 3 different people today. It must be true.
It must be true.
And I just, yeah, it must be true. I love.
One thing I like,
I
when you
did-
mentioned that, one thing I like about the movie is that the bad guy is a bad guy. There's no like,
He
oh, he's
is.
a hug. He's not. He's misunderstood. None of
No.
that crap. He's a bad
No,
guy
I mean-
who loves being a bad guy.
Okay.
And
So
he's a murderer and a murderer and
You know,
and
we could
an
probably
artist
veer the
and-
conversation back to The Future Looks Grim for Hollywood. at this-
Eventually, but this is fun conversation. And you brought up Musketeers, and just on that note, look, the Musketeers with Orlando Bloom and Mila Jovovich. Do you know that one?
Nope.
Look, it's a
I
bad
skipped
movie.
it.
It's a
I
very
saw-
bad
I
movie,
saw the-
but I love it. It is one of those guilty pleasure bad movies that is just fun.
Did you see the preview for the French one?
No, I haven't. I heard
Oh,
there's a new
dude,
one
there's a
coming
new
out.
preview for a French Three Musketeers movie, and it looks so freaking good.
All right. You know, we actually might need to shelve that for it because I didn't want to go too long in this live stream, and we do have the super chats, and we did get to talk a little bit about, you know, the future of Hollywood looks grim, and so maybe like watch Nerdrotic's video if you haven't, because there are signs. I'm hoping that times may be changing.
For those who haven't seen it, I would love to share this because I
I think
love this movie.
That's
I
awesome.
love
Hollywood
yeah,
this
that's
will
movie.
fun.
lose so much money.
Like,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It's really cool.
Tim Roth.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh,
I need to rewatch it. I need to rewatch it.
it's
been a long time.
campy and it's fun, but
It's
the
probably
dialogue
fun.
is believable for the type of movie they're going for.
The good guy's a good guy. Like he's
He-
actually
oh,
virtuous and
yeah.
stuff.
He is,
You know,
He-
like for today's standards, it's probably a friggin' masterpiece. You know,
Oh yeah. Speaking of the Hollywood today is failing. All the stuff we brought up that we loved are like old movies.
yes,
Wasn't it?
exactly.
Nothing
The-
see,
really current.
look, he falls through the ceiling on a
And
a
he-
perfectly
he
naked
averts
woman
his
there,
eyes.
and he turns around and he's like,
he averts his eyes. Like he's
Like-
trying
like
to
a
he averts it,
gentleman
and
should.
because he was chasing away the pervert.
Yeah.
And he chases the guy away, and the ceiling was old, and he fell, and he's like, "Look, it's not what you think." And she's like, "You have no idea what I think." And the guy was like, "Fair."
Is that the one that it's the action director is the same one that did The Matrix?
Yeah, I think so. It's something like that. It's
I'm
something
not
like
sure. It could be.
that. It's like the martial
yeah.
arts kung fu style like choreography, but in the style
That's the
of,
one
like, sword
how I
fights and
remember
stuff.
it. They put
I-
in kung fu style fighting in it.
It-
And I need to rewatch it. Like it's been so long. I remember I didn't like it for that originally, but like I
like
said,
10 years
upon
old.
rewatching, I might really enjoy it, Nick, because again, we're in an era of crap, and I would love just fun movies.
I would-
that
And
does-
that, and then the Count of Monte Cristo
Count of
from
Monte
the
Cristo.
same year.
Like anything by Alexander Dumas is really pretty cool.
Oh,
Actually.
Yeah. Have
Dude.
you seen the French kind of Monte Cristo with Gerard Depardieu?
I
No,
have
I
not.
That's a
No.
that one's really
In
good.
fact, I
Uh,
just
I-
rethought the kind of Monte Cristo again. The one with where what's his name? I forgot. It's like the more. It's like a
it's the
American
it's the-
one.
yeah,
The
it's
modern
got
one, the 2001 was a Chris.
it's
he
got the
played
Aussie actor
Christ.
who plays the bad guy, and yes, and then the guy who played Passion of the Christ. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like him as an
yeah.
actor.
Jim Caviezel.
and
Yeah, Jim
and-
Caviezel.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that
Yeah.
one. I got that one.
I really like that
Yeah,
one. I really like that one. It's a
No,
great
that
movie.
that I love. That's one of my. That is probably my number one favorite movie of all time. Is The Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, hey.
I love that movie. I think Jim Caviezel did a fantastic. Was it Pierce? God, Pierce is the guy's last name, I think. Anyway, fantastic movie, The Count of Monte Cristo from like 2001. I love it. Just everything about that movie. I got my wife to watch it, and she was like, "Wait, she had to watch it 2 or 3 times to get all the names and stuff." And now, like once a year, we'll just sit down and watch that movie. It's so fantastic.
Oh yeah, didn't you just AI your wife?
If you
Yeah,
know what
no,
I
my
mean.
wife AI'd my wife. Should I pull that up?
Hey,
no, wait,
it's a fun thing to do.
So my wife put her images into, and she'll be totally fine. My wife has actually been somewhat of a public figure for like almost a decade now.
Oh, what really? Wow.
She's a pro-life speaker. For
Hey,
those who
good on
don't know, so here's the skinny on my wife really quickly. So my wife met me. She was in a very, very different place than she is now. My wife was, and through her pro-life work, she became pro-life with our first daughter. Her family members of her basically pushed her in and forced her to have an abortion when she was a teenager. Not a good, those people are no longer a part of our lives. My wife went through a lot of years of guilt and things like that. And understandably so. And now my wife she's actually even talked with our children about this too, and told our children about it this last year and let them know the whole story. And so, but no, my wife has been out in the public eye forever, but she also decided to go and put her images onto an AI. And yes, so here is my wife's images in the AI.
Mark Hamill did that to his son.
Right. Yeah. No, it's atrocious. And to be honest, these images are not too far off, because my wife has. So that's the thing, is my wife, she's had every different color. She looks like she would be an SJW, just like a lot hotter. Like she actually pulls off the rainbow hair. And my and I joke, and that's actually like, but like, yeah, she has actually had the piercing up here, you know, all and then obviously
not bad. They're not bad. It's just like, you know,
so
I'm a bit of an AI aficionado. I think there's potential.
So, and that's actually my wife.
Okay, lovely.
So
and
her left arm is entirely dedicated to our family with the tattoos that she has. And there's a lot there. She has all of our children's handprints, and then my handprint stops on her shoulder. And then her right arm up here is dedicated to her favorite band, Iron Maiden.
Hey.
So, but yeah, so no, that's but yeah, she's even messing around with the AI art. And when the things that I'm tangentially paying attention to and the things that she's paying attention to collide, because we kind of pay attention to different parts of the internet, that's when I'm like, okay, some serious stuff is happening with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
so, guys, we're going to start wrapping up. I'm going to jump to super chats. You can duck out now, gracefully, if you wish, or you can stick around with the super chats. I don't think we got. Oh, there's a number there, but won't take it.
Shad, no, I'm sorry. Before you go into that, I forgot to say this earlier, and I really meant to say this. It was like right at the beginning of the stream. I want to say, hey, now.
Thank you there, Ross. Thank you. Have you heard about All-Star?
We thought about All-Star.
Have you heard about All-Star?
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I told you.
I know. So Charlie Voos for $5 says, "I love you guys at my sister's wedding, so I will watch this later. Cheers." Thank you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, hey, and congratulations to your sister getting married. Cheers to all of you out there, and I hope that you have a wonderful time.
Indeed. Zanzibar White for $20 says, "Recently subscribed and I'm really enjoying both channels. I used to think Hollywood only cared about money. Apparently, they decided stupidity was more important." Yes.
You know, if we're showing off wives, I can put mine
up. Do you have permission?
Yes, no.
Hey.
So she was the model for Voodoo for Wildstorm for a couple.
That's awesome. Good, sir.
Chat, as you see, we love our wives very deeply.
We do.
And we are all very, very lucky men. And
oh, dude.
I
couldn't.
I know.
There's no way.
People say that, you know, I've been out of Achieve a lot. It's only thanks to my wife's support. Like literally, this graphic novel would not have gotten off the ground without her help. So much is just all her support and help.
that's this here that I'm doing. This YouTube channel. The reason I met you guys, she told me for years, you need to do this. And I finally, okay, babe, I'm gonna do it. And I started doing it, and all the time, hey babe, I gotta go do a video. I've got to go do on a live stream. And she goes, nope, I got it. I'll be with the kids. You go do your thing. And she just, dude, I'm telling you, I could not.
Yeah, like happy wife, happy life, guys. It's the most important
Man.
decision you'll ever make. Make it right. Find a good woman, and wow.
Pick a good one and hope she likes you.
You know what? And here's something my brother told me when I was really young. Like my brother's a lot older than me. My brother is 41, 42. And so there's a big gap there, but he told me, he goes, you know what? He goes, that here's the thing. If you can make her laugh, he's like, you got her. He's like, if you can just be funny and not like try to be funny for her, but like if you can make her laugh, like you know that, and that's a big thing. And still to this day, I find new ways to make my wife laugh. And there are times I'll think about it, and times I'm like, oh hey, she would enjoy, you know. And after 12 years, I know who she is.
I get that. I mean, sometimes I just look at you and laugh, Royce. So I understand.
Why am I here?
To suffer.
So Michelle Dunave, sorry I can't pronounce it, for $25 says, hey guys, love the stream title you come up with, playing through God of War 2018 in preparation for Ragnarok. So I love the nod to Norse mythology. My question is this, next super chat, once again for $25. Thank you very much, Michelle. Also, Michael, I'm really bad. I think it's Michael, actually. Sorry. Although they'd already driven away the audience, Andor is a diamond in the rough, mature, atmospheric, and intelligently written. Doesn't this prove that Disney have it with them to produce quality media? Question mark. Maybe. The thing is, though, then Disney Lucasfilm comes out with Willow, right? Like, it seems like anything that is even medium, like average, is a diamond in the rough and a very rare thing. And it's because, I don't know, Kathleen Kennedy didn't get any of her influence into it or those things. Because I would have loved to have a good Willow. I love Willow. I love the film.
Me too. It's one of my favorites. I really enjoy Willow, the original Willow movie. It was great. It's fantastic. It has like the journey of the daughter looking for an evil mother and then learning to break away from evil feminism and join a strong man as a trad wife. but also, did you notice that the lesbian princess in the show, she's also a white girl with brunette hair, like a lot of Disney stuff from Lucasfilm.
I am
standing for Kathleen Kennedy.
I have watched 5 minutes of after Disney took over Star Wars. I've watched 5 minutes of a Star Wars thing, and it's because I had to figure out what the hell people were talking about with the Luke Skywalker AI generated scene in The Mandalorian. So I found that on Disney Plus, fast forwarded to that moment, watched it, and I was like, okay, they did all right there, and bowed out. I've not watched any of the movies. Yeah. I've watched plenty of scenes. I might as well have watched the movies. I've watched Mahler's reviews on all of them, right? And but when they came out and they ixnayed the extended universe, and then 3 months later came out and said, "Oh, we have to come up with new stories because we don't have any stories that we can fall back on." And I was like, 3 months ago, you just got rid of everything.
Yeah.
And I was still
do a Darth Bane movie. Jeez Louise.
I know, here. I was a KOTOR guy. I wanted to see Revan on screen. I wanted new Star Wars to just walk away from the Skywalkers, leave the Skywalker storyline where it was, and just go far away, either far enough in the future that the Skywalkers didn't need to be mentioned or far enough in the past that nobody knew about them. That's where I wanted Star Wars to go. And they nixed so much stuff, and now they're trying to cherry pick stuff and bring it back from all the crap that they got rid of, from all this stuff. And there was a lot of crap in there. There was some good, but let's face it, George Lucas signed away the Star Wars title to a lot of stories that probably didn't deserve it.
I mean, but still, the expanded universe is orders of magnitude better than the crap Disney has made.
Yes.
Retcon everything Disney has made, and they could start afresh with just the expanded universe, and they might have something. That
They could
They would.
have done a Knights of the Old Republic because that's probably
Well,
my favorite timeline. If they would
the
have
thing
done
is,
a Knights of the Old Republic movie series, oh,
I'm in a
and
position.
that,
I don't want them to do anything. Don't touch it
not
because
now.
Knights of the Republic
No,
is good.
no, I'm
Don't
talking
let him touch it.
2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking 2012. I'm like, could I see Revan? And
Mm.
like, like no, and it not now. No, don't touch Revan.
Mm.
Don't
You know, the
touch
guy
my
that
boy.
designed Darth Revan, John Gallagher, he's probably going to end up doing a lot of AI because I know a lot of the artwork he does now. It's that
Mhm.
sort of Ryan Menderling, you know, piecemealing all of this different like bits and pieces of photographs together to get the textures and all that kind of stuff. And he does. A friend of mine reps him for conventions, and he does all these different things. I mean, he'll use toys. He'll take a picture of a toy and then he'll put like New York behind it and do like all of this stuff. But it's all photo manipulation when it comes down to it, plus some special effects and whatnot.
I've seen some,
and so I can totally see him like jumping onto the AI thing to actually do his work. And he designed.
That's an interesting thought. So, what about taking the practical effects, like what Christopher Cooksey's doing with Christopher Moonlight Productions, and some of these guys who are doing what you're talking about, where they do, because I've seen people that take like the Pokemon figures and they'll put like a smoke ball, like a cotton ball on fire in the background, and then they just, again, with angles, and then merging all of that stuff together could, I mean, that's another layer with the AI artwork.
Yeah, you could do it 2D. I don't know how you would for movies. I don't know how you would.
It's
well,
going to expand into
it's-
animation and then film. Like the projections of what they feel this technology can do is crazy. Like they believe. I'm a bit more like, I don't think it'll be that quick. I think they could get in like 5-10 years. They could reach a point where you click a button, put a prompt, and say, "I want a film of this character's doing this thing, fighting this type of bad guy in this period, everything." And they feel an AI could generate a live action photorealistic film out of that.
Yeah, when they
I
have
think
fucking computers, maybe.
like, I think we're a much longer way off for that. It's a
Moore's
crazy
law.
kind of projection. Yeah,
Look into Moore's
I
law.
wonder if we'll reach some plateaus and roadblocks before then, and I think we will myself. But just where it's at the moment is mind-boggling and an amazing tool.
Well, we wouldn't have thought about it 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It wasn't even the public consciousness 5 years ago.
So Archiwistyaka, UMK, sorry for the pronunciation, for 25 PLN says, wouldn't you be interested in comparing the Netflix series The Witcher with the Polish series from 2002? You can find a version with English subtitles online. Interesting thought. Maybe I could get the guys to look at that. Though The Witcher on Netflix, it's dead now. With Henry Cavill gone, it is like the next season they're trying to make it. That's already dead on arrival. I've checked out. I don't care.
Well, who knows? Henry Cavill might come back because they're no longer doing the Superman movie.
Oh, I didn't know that. Are they?
Yeah,
that?
James Gunn came in and basically freaking took a scythe to all of the Warner Brothers movies.
Anything
is he starting fresh?
Pretty much.
He might be. But I think anything remotely close to connected to the Snyderverse, which thank God, with the exception of Henry Cavill, because I think Henry Cavill could have been a great Superman had they actually wrote.
He was one of the best cast Superman we've ever had.
He looked the part, but that dude has the charisma of a cup of tea.
Well, I think that was the writing.
No,
yeah.
I've seen him
no,
in other
okay,
stuff.
okay. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Charisma.
I think. Well, I saw him in that one Mission
great
Impossible
role.
movie, and I
I
thought
have a bit more.
What's the Mission Impossible movie that he did? I thought he did a good job in that. He was the villain. He was the villain in
Fallout. It was Mission Impossible Fallout.
Fallout. Thank you. It wasn't Ghost Protocol. I thought he did a good job in that. And I don't know, maybe it's just because in the interviews, the guy has never once thrown the fandom under the bus and then also proudly stood there and been like, no, I'm a nerd too. Like, what do you, no, stop.
Yeah.
And he's never,
but
maybe that's where I'm coming from.
I like him as a person. And I think
he also
really
dated Gina Carano. So,
but dude, it's Superman. You need somebody with like, you know,
Christopher Reeves nailed Clark.
Exactly.
Like we have never had a better Clark
film.
Kent than Christopher Reeves. In almost every other Superman adaptation, Clark Kent is an afterthought. And he barely exists as Clark Kent.
You didn't like Smallville.
Tom? No, he was
it
good.
was small.
I thought
Smallville
he was good. I thought it. Well, I thought he was
yeah.
good
But sorry, I was talking about
in
films,
the
the
middle.
Superman
Yeah.
film.
Oh, I gotcha. I'm sorry because I still think
Tom,
that's.
if Tom Welling would have played Superman in a movie, that would have
think
been
he'd have
pretty
nailed
cool.
it.
But
I think he would have nailed
It's so
it
funny
because he
He didn't want
understands.
to because he didn't want to be typecast as Superman. I haven't seen him in any other successful film. Period.
But you know what?
After
But
that,
he
it's like,
still goes out there, dude. But he still goes out there, and he's still proud of what he did on that show.
good on him. Good on him.
And I've
Smallville
watched
was
him.
fun.
Yeah,
No,
I-
I have annoyances with Smallville though.
no,
It's
and
so
I do,
freaking
and,
inconsistent with how Kryptonite works. Bloody piss me off.
and I do too. But because he came out and said no flights, no tights, and he restricted it to the Clark Kent character, I guess in my mind that's kind of the definitive Clark Kent.
Nah, Christopher Reeves is.
it was
me.
fun.
He
It
did
was fun.
such-
No,
Christopher
Christopher
Reeves
Reeves is really he
Yeah.
did a good job too, though.
Okay.
He-
Talking Pulp Press for $10 says,
Hey, what up,
Hollywood
Rob?
is. Hey, how are you, man? Hollywood is dead. The Iron Age is here. We are the culture. I still sell my IP for lots of money. Granted, I'd still sell my IP for lots of money. Why? Because Hollywood is dumb. I am creative. Granted, I'd still sell here. And I'll make another IP. Hi, Nathan, he says. And yes,
Iron
Dan the
Age.
Destructor. There's his work
Mhm.
right there.
Yep.
Rob Rhymes, check it out, guys. Good to see you, man. Again, King Advisors for $10 says, "Cheers, Shad and Co. Gonna have to watch later, but wanted to say, so sorry about Willow. Thank you, sir. Thanks for all the content. Keep up the fight. Would love for all to give our channel. I'm guessing you all to give our channel a look. King's Advisors, people, give it a look." And thank you very much for the super chat. Ellie Annie Creations for $5 says, "Hello, Shad. Just saw your Willow episode 3 review. My condolences, and hopefully there will come a day when you no longer hate wagons."
I would say the most cringe thing that immediately hits you in the face with Willow, the TV show, is the dialogue. It feels like Twitter dialogue. It feels like some 20-something Zoomers talking in a cafe in California rather than the fantasy realm.
Yes, I mean, like the if you want to like a case in point of the atrocious attempt at medieval fantasy, those two woodswomen, they look like cowgirls from a modern day ranch. It is that bad. And
here's the actual dialogue from the show. She goes up to the princess, the lesbian princess. I keep forgetting her name. I think it's Kit or something.
Kit,
which is really stupid. Everyone else has normal names. Her name is Kit. But the thing is, she goes up to the prince she's supposed to marry. The prince who is actually okay with it. He knows his duty as a prince. But of course, she's the princess, and he has to be like, I don't want to marry without love, and this is wrong, and something like that. Although after fully embracing the privileges of a princess. But anyway,
yes,
she goes up to the prince and goes, so we're getting married. That's weird, right? That's actual dialogue from the show. That sounds like we're on Gilmore Girls or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's such modern crap. It's like, oh, give me a break. And the super chat is absolutely right. I am racist against wagons now. Wagons are awful. I kind of want to see them all destroyed. Thanks to Willow episode 3. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my episode 3 review. I wouldn't recommend watching the video because that too might make you racist against wagons. And I'm in a difficult spot. I was like, it's not good to be like this. But every time I think of them, I want to burn them. What can I say? I wonder if some of that will get clipped. They might just clip the small segment for
racist against something. And then,
They, do you mean me?
Darren Cameron. Wow, he dropped heaps of super chats. Thank you very much, Darren Cameron. $9.99. Super late shift. Glad I can listen. New law question: if a nunchucks was sun forged, would it finally surpass the stick, or would its ability to hit the user be enhanced? I think you nailed on the head because one of its main primary functions is hitting the user, and just become worse. I'm the writer. I get to be make arbitrary decisions like that. And once again, Darren Cameron for $1.99. If sun forging is possible, if sun forging is possible, is its opposite? I think he's asking, is there an opposite to sun forging? I will not say. Read and find out for that one, sir. I'll leave that one hanging in the air.
Got to make it up.
Darren Cameron again.
I just dropped the links to all of us in the chat. If you guys want to sub to our channels, we'd love
Please
it.
do. Please do go check these wonderful hosts out. again, for $4.99, he says, there are many religions in Telos. Can a person be part of any religion and be a light bringer? If I worshipped the shade, could I be a night bringer? Okay, so first question is, yes, there are light bringers in every culture and in every religion. And even in the book, you see that you can have different interpretations about the theology of the world and still have light bringers. And they have debates about the interpretation of the nature of God in their world, the light, what that is. And so, great question. If you worship the shade, could you bring a night bringer? So I'm trying to remember that, because there's light binders, light bringers, and light blarers. And there's a reference to the Herald of Night in the first book. I'm just going to not expound upon that any further. A night bringer is an interesting. That's not actually in the book, but if you're saying could there be something created called a night bringer, and it's like, it's an interesting name, maybe.
Yeah, but I
Maybe.
mean, practically, if you worship the shade, you would just go into the darkness until you became one.
Basically, yeah. There are more intelligent shade and greater shade and more monstrous looking shade that you don't actually get to see in the first book. But who knows? Maybe in the sequels you will see some more. There's things called greater shade that Dalen talks about. Good questions though. And then he super chats again for $1.99. Could sun forging be used to enhance art like an AI? So if you sunforged a work of art, it wouldn't actually change the image too much, but it would enhance the emotional impact the art was intended to do. And that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting concept and idea. Again, for $1.99, dude, thank you for all the super chats. Says, does this count as comment spam? Notice me, Shad. Super chats? No, you can spam as many super chats as you want.
In fact, encourage it.
Yeah, I do. I very much encourage it. And again, 499 says, I feel betrayed. I thought your wife was Red Sonia Moraine Lara Croft. Because in the videos, that's the avatar.
Right?
No, my wife is actually far better looking than those people, and you got to see there was a face reveal here, and now I can actually use those avatars for her when she joins me in videos. Talking Pulp Press for $10 says, most of the pushback I get about my AI art being stolen art comes from commies on Twitter. From their point of view, shouldn't be our art. Also, hi Nathan. So I see pushback from people across the board, and they fall into two camps. It's a heated debate. Like my brother talks about in the video that's coming out today, I believe, or tomorrow, that he has a dedicated art channel and he's done videos on AI art, and he has had people very upset with him. It's a smaller minority, but some people have even they won't watch his videos for how dare he push the evil AI art. Some people are really heated on this topic, and it's funny. Like, I can only sympathize with them to an extent, but I can see where they're coming from. But the thing is, though, you're not stopping this train, okay? As much as you might try and be upset about it, the world technology advances, and it's here to stay. So you can either
be better, I guess.
Yeah. See it as it's a benefit, though. It's just like there's so many benefits to this, and I just the whole video I did with Jazz is trying to show some of these benefits for people, because it is actually, I feel, such a phenomenal tool, and it's going to just help artists out, and we're going to get better, more great art as a result. So, guys, get on board with it. Find a way that you can find advantage and benefit from it, because there's so many applications. If you're just going to be so afraid and not a thing, hey, if you're talented, you'll still find work. Okay, if you're a good artist, you will always be able to find work as an artist. This could help out finding ways to monetize your art, guys. Anyway, there's lots to say on that, and we got to talk a bit about it. But thank you, Talking Pulp Press. Good to see you again. Darren Cameron for $4.99 says, just to be clear, my comment about your wife's avatar was a joke. Please don't hate me. She's a wonderful person. Here's some money for my pen.
All right, forgive me once.
All right, thank you, Cameron. You
taking money for penance like the medieval
Catholic? Hey,
good on you.
It works for the Catholic Church. They were called indulgences.
Indulgences. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't know
Actually,
okay.
you know, it's actually really interesting the doctrine that's founded on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't mean to rag on them, but I do understand there's a doctrinal through
Mm-hmm.
line that led them to that conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And so in Catholicism, the way that you are able to receive
tread
forgiveness,
carefully, good
no,
sir.
is through works. It is works is the penance you must pay for your sins. This is why the whole rosary, where you say so many Hail Marys and everything, that's a religious action that you can undertake to increase your good works to counterbalance your sin. And so it comes for me from a religious perspective. I feel that's a misinterpretation of biblical text. Okay, but if that with that like theological understanding, okay,
you're wrong in certain aspects.
in aspects. Are you Catholic?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are you? Okay, please correct me. Please,
that's why I brought
correct
it up.
Yeah.
So in a lot of what's been so the modern interpretation of the church is that you say prayer in order to the idea of, well, at least the penance now, and then the idea of penance always has been is that in order to correct for the sin that you have, committed, especially, and in the act of confession, the idea is that the stand-in for Christ and God, and who can tell you, okay, there are certain things that you may be able to do, not necessarily to make reparations, but for you to understand and get yourself closer to God through acts of suffering or acts of separation from something that you love, giving up things that you again, and that's where they came to the whole money thing, because everybody loves money, right? Not necessarily, because in the original rite in the Catholic faith, the Mass itself is actually the recreation of Christ's suffering and death on the cross, recreated in an unbloody manner. Most people don't know that. Most people think, oh, it's just church. No, it's actually a traditional way that and a ritualistic event that they, and actually it's one of the reasons I used to love to serve on the altar when I was a child, because I thought about it as, oh my God, I'm actually, because when Christ died, through Christ dying, he reopened the gates of the heaven from original sin. The act of penance came from the idea that you must separate yourself from worldly possessions, or even put yourself into a level of suffering that which would only be a small sliver of what Christ bared on the cross. And it's been distorted throughout history, especially with some of the times, again, offering money out of the pocket. There were some greedy people in the church, and I fully admit that 100%.
Oh yeah, but the where the logic that it comes from, I find interesting. And so the Catechism is the kind of a book in Catholicism which defines doctrinal understanding, interpretation from the text.
Thomas Aquinas was one of those that wrote the Catechism. Yes.
Yep. And so with the belief that you have about saints, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding from the medieval period was that the saints did so many good works that were actually more than what was necessary for their own salvation. And so the popes, the medieval popes of the time, interpreted that there was additional works that the saints had accumulated that could be granted through priesthood authority, papal authority, to other people. And that's where the indulgence came in, where they felt that they could kind of delegate some of the good works that was not needed for the saints' salvation to be given to individuals based on the authority. Is that that was my understanding?
So the thing that you're referencing is what's known as virtues, and I believe if I am not the perfect person here. I actually strayed away from the faith for a long time. I'm actually in my own journey to reconnect with the faith. But I at one point in time was very astute at it. But there are 40 virtues as far as I remember correctly, and that's what you would be talking about with the saints. The saints had actually displayed many virtues, and even some of them all virtues throughout their life. And actually, one of the saints, Saint Monica, let's go with her. She has been canonized a saint for simply being nothing other than an amazing mother. Right? Saint Augustine was her son, and he was a whore. he, for lack of a better term, stuck it in anything that he could. And for years, when he would go from town to town, and his mother just followed and prayed for him and begged God for forgiveness. And one day he stopped his ways, turned around, and St. Augustine is actually heralded as very high nowadays because saints are made from sinners. Little do we know. And the 40 virtues there is what they were trying to sell in some of the corrupted cardinals. It actually came from the cardinals. So you have the Pope, the cardinals, the bishops, the priests, and so on. And it actually came from the corrupted cardinals of the land. And they were trying to say that, oh, well, if you want to have the virtues of this saint and that saint because they were so good, you can essentially confess your sins and pay for it. And that was an absolute thing that happened. And that was, and definitely a dark mark on the church's history. Not only that, but there was also a time where there may or may not have been 3 popes at the same time because we couldn't decide. And there's a lot there. There's a lot there.
Schism.
There's absolutely a schism. I mean, there's actually still now a schism in the church. I mean, if you look at the modern day church, the modern day Catholic Church, which I'm baffled at, to be perfectly honest, and that this modern day Pope, I question a lot of the things that he says, especially in the sense of morality, but there's still a modern day schism. You can look at the fraternity, the priestly fraternity of St. Peter, the Pius X Society. They practice the traditional rite in the Latin, which is what I was brought up in, was the Latin Mass. You know, one of my favorite prayers that I still remember is the Gloria.
Yep.
You know, Gloria in excelsis Deo et in terra pax hominum.
Royce.
Yeah.
Peter
Anyway,
didn't
sorry.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I would have loved to have a conversation with you because I actually find this stuff deeply fascinating.
No, I apologize. It's
Christianity and all that stuff, and even the points I actually find even the points of disagreement between faiths I find really deeply interesting to understand what those are, where they come from, and the foundation of them. Because I think everyone knows I'm a Latter-day Saint Mormon, and so it's just I find it fascinating stuff.
We actually have the Book of Mormon up here too, as well.
Oh, do you?
We have many Bibles in the house. We would like to learn from all the places that we can.
Right.
Because
we should have a conversation. That'd be great. That'd be really cool.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Royce and I went into this the other night, last week.
Yeah. Was it last week or the week before?
A couple weeks ago, maybe.
No, it was the Black Friday stream. It was the Black Friday stream. That was a good one.
That was all kinds of fun.
That was
I might have to check that one out.
I think, Shad, you were invited to that and you shunned me. Thank you.
I'm busy, man. I got stuff to do.
Mike wasn't busy.
AI.
Get off your AI.
I got to get back to the super chats. Okay, says Ernie Miles Keeler, I think, for $5, I hope I pronounced it, is, hey, Shad, love your vids. Next week, I get my free Audible credit. I will use it on Shadow of the Conqueror. Legend. I hope you enjoy it, sir. I'm confident that you will. But I might be a biased, perspective on that. But that's awesome. Thank you very much. Margie Chan for $5 says, greetings, Iron Age Fellowship. Just wishing everyone an amazing Christmas season. Yes, Merry Christmas, guys. And please continue the fight for our culture. So I hope I can still do the stream next week, by the way, but I'm on holiday with my family, and so it might be from one of the rooms. And so we'll see. But yeah, Christmas is a busy time, lots of family activities. I assume you guys will be getting busy as well. So we'll see what we can do. I don't know.
I may send you guys an invite. I'll shoot you a message, but there is one Friday this month that is not taken over by guest panels for my Friday night show, and I would love to just send some invites to everybody and just have a really fantastic holiday stream. And it's like right before Christmas and all that. But I think that would be just an absolute blast to have people come in and just let go of the world, talk about faith, family, love, the things we hate, the things that we're excited about, all that. That'd be really cool to have to toss that out there.
Neil Lindgren for $4.99 says, What was weird was when Steve got killed by that stingray, it was one of the few times he actually wasn't messing with an animal. I mean,
That stingray was just like, that's him.
he was, yes, yeah.
Guy.
He was
He's got a bounty on
close
him.
swimming amongst it. It was just one of those times when everyone was kind of expecting it and so when it happened, like, I was just like,
Yeah, that
what,
makes sense.
really? I wasn't surprised that I was more surprised that the thing
I was
that
more
everyone
surprised
was
the
warning
type
him would
of animal that it
happened.
was.
But it's funny, he wasn't messing with the animal when it happened.
The weird part
And
is
look-
he wasn't even in the water.
Wasn't he? I don't like. I thought he was swimming in the water.
He was like, no, he like had just entered into it or something like that. Like it was
How
really
does he get stabbed through the heart if it's on the water?
The stingray
that
got
was the
out of the
thing.
water,
Yeah,
grew legs,
So
and
when the reports
It's like,
happened,
it's
if
like
you guys
the
were-
alien face sucker,
was
but it
the-
just stabs him in the heart
the
instead.
Bruce Lee of stingrays attacked Steve Irwin.
Yeah, it was a jump side sting.
I don't know, man. I need to look up a more reliable source for this one.
Oh no,
We're totally reliable, Shad.
There's a genre
Okay,
of
we're on
stingrays.
your stream. We must be reliable.
Someone gave that stingray an impossible task, and to take down Steve Irwin outside.
He
the
had a
water.
certain set of skills.
He was paid to do it. He was
been
paid
tracking
assassin.
miles.
It's like, this is for all those crocodiles.
Steve
You
Irwin may or may not
relocate.
have. Steve Irwin may or may not have evidence that would lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton.
Cameron, Darren,
Has
Cameron,
anybody checked on the stingray lately? Does he know?
I don't know. We need to interrogate him. But Karen Darren Cameron for 499 says, question for Mike's cat. Do you feel your owner spends too much time with his hats and not enough time giving you belly rubs? That's a spicy question there, Mike.
It's for my cat. I can't really answer for him.
Yeah, and Mike just looks suddenly quite awkward and uncomfortable. So
Let's go.
Talking Pulp Press for $5 says, oh, the Aussie doesn't like the stereotypes, but I live in the Everglades. I embrace the Florida man. I have an alligator with me in bed right now.
They can talk to the alligators, dude. You don't even know.
Look, I
it's not
clarified.
a stereotype.
Okay. I clarified later that some stereotypes are fun to lean into, and I fully get that. And Cameron again for $1.99 says, we need to cast Harrison Ford as Robin Hood. No, it's too old now.
Better than Kevin Costner.
Because you can see.
Okay. The accent was bad, but his delivery when he was supposed to get the impression that the character felt the way that he felt and everything. Kevin Costner's a good actor. Come on.
I love Kevin Costner. Poorly cast.
Okay.
I support English folk heroes being replaced by Americans. I do like that.
See, I call me strange. I think actors have the ability to play roles that they do not match certain, that's just what an actor is meant to play pretend. Okay.
Not when everyone
all
else
roles
in the
should be
cast
replaced
is
with
speaking
Americans. All roles
Agree.
should be replaced
with
with
Doctor
English
Who,
and
all the
Scottish and
shock-
Irish
all
accents.
everybody.
Then
Everybody.
here comes Kevin
Frodo should have been
Costner.
an American.
Yeah, with like cigar, wearing the red, white, and blue tank top, shirtless,
Oh,
or
dude.
Yeah.
sleeveless,
Dude.
So,
done.
because I don't know, you know what I'm
Yeehaw battle
referencing.
cry.
We've gotten to the point where you can only
Gandalf.
cast gay people as gay characters. You can only cast if you have the exact same thing and all that stuff. It's like once upon a time, didn't actors just play pretend? And
That's
and
the whole job. This is play pretend, but for lots of money. But
Yeah.
imagine Frodo riding on an eagle to Mount Doom, firing a gun and going yeehaw, and having a bottle of whiskey in the other hand. That'd be fantastic.
What?
don't know, you
I
sound-
have
making
the
it sound
cards
cool.
against
Shad,
humanity
make that in
card.
AI, would you?
Yeah, I could try. From Thank You for 499 says, hey, Shad, just wanted to pop in and say that I love your content. You are excellent at what you do, and you have inspired me to get back into writing. That is awesome. Genuinely. Comments like that really just, I love it. And best of luck. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Cameron 499 says, Shad, will you make a public apology to all the wagons you were No! We need to look. Wagons are now a menace. I think we need to kind of, I don't know, round them up. We could make like a wagon stoppo, get them all together, burn them. Yeah. We might even be able to put like, a gas fire of some type, perhaps. And who knows? We can then make Tyrazine great again. Yeah.
Make the orcs pay for it.
Yes, and we'll make Willow pay for it.
Just Willow.
Just Willow. So clearly, no apology there. And I don't look. I know. I see this dark sided part in me now. I'm gonna have to try and figure something out.
I mean, the wagon did make Alora Dannon vomit all over Willow's nice clothes.
See the problems it's causing, and it's like it was actively working against them from saving someone. Okay, so and then Cameron says, "You heard a lot of squeaky wheels with your hate speech." It's like maybe they didn't. Just saying. Alex Halo for $2 says, "Don't forget to get Literature Devil's book, Dr. Alpha." Yes, guys.
Thank you much.
Grab it.
Yeah.
Thank you very, Alex.
In fact, I just checked. We are now just $80 away from 22,000, which is incredible.
Really?
Because today I think beginning of the day we're at 21,000. I think 100, 200, and so it's crazy that by the end of the day we're now like within a couple of backers away from 22,000. That's pretty crazy.
Awesome.
Link is
guys. Link in the chat. Come on, one of you can help Literature to go over the line to 20.
Almost there. One took over the line.
You're getting close to the end of the line too, as far as your time.
I have 6 days left. 6 days.
Okay,
left.
Guys, 6 days. Get him there. Come
on.
6 days left to get around. I would say $3,000, $3,080.
Come on.
See if we could do it,
guys. Share. And here's the thing, guys. Share it. Share the campaign and shout it out. Don't if you back it, that's wonderful. The one thing that probably means more than backing is clicking the share button and posting it to all of your social media and say, "Hey guys, I'm buying this book. I think it's going to be really fun." And for all my friends out there who love comic books too, but that right there is huge. Share it, share the link, and get other people involved in it as well, because I think that means just as much as cold hard cash.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We'll hopefully get over that 22,000 line by the end of the stream. We'll refresh and get an update. The Holtonator for $5 says, "Still working on my book. I've just been having to make stacks, but I'm always thinking about the world I've made. Hail the Iron Age." Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. That's Hollywood is falling apart, and we're seeing the theme of the stream. We talked about it sporadically, but Hollywood, they're starting to. It seems like is it the cows? What's the thing coming home to roost? What comes home to roost? The chickens are coming home to roost. Chickens. But it seems like
you
Disney
can't call them by a different species now. Like it's not.
Sorry.
That's racist or speed. I don't know. Cows and chickens, they're the same now.
They're starting to wake up and realize this woke crap just makes bad art, bad quality stuff. Okay, just make things that people love, universal morals that everyone once would have been able to agree on. That's changing, isn't it? So shocking that just plain basic truths are offending people these days, and once upon a time it was all accepted. But that's the stuff that we need society to get back to just accept universal truths that most men like to act like men, most women like to act like women, men and women love to get married, raise families, have children. Okay, men love to be heroic and save women. Women, guess what, like to be saved. Embrace these wonderful tropes that we see reflected in storytelling that encourage us to be our better selves, for women to be heroic in the ways that they're able to be heroic. And yes, guess what, sometimes that's being a heroic mother. All right, that is in fact most of the time. Watch
out all those red pills, Shad. You might get the stingrays after you.
I'm just very offended that you keep using the word truth.
I know, right?
The one thing that has pissed me off more in the last decade is people say, "Well, my truth." No, absolutely not. No, I had to ponder.
There is the truth and your opinion. Okay, not this my truth.
What was the opening line to the trailer for Rings of Power? Speak your truth.
No!
It was that song.
I hate it.
See, I carry around these tools with me and toy people with. I don't remember anything about Rings of Power, but I do remember the things that are most cringe, and I carry them around like golf clubs. It's because I need to use them to trigger people. It's great stuff.
We got a couple of super chats that have also just quickly come in. Zachary Galloway for $2 says, "What is your opinion on gendered magic systems? They are based, of
Gender
course.
magic.
I think it
gendered
can
magic
totally
system.
work. Yeah.
Oh, Wheel of Time made it work.
Female
That was
gender magic.
great. And look,
Gender magic.
it's not as guys, this is the reality.
Mike,
women are
not
women.
here. That's for my
There's
stream.
already, guys, there's already a gendered magic system. Women have this magical ability to create life in them. So
It's
there's
true.
a magical
where it
power
is?
right there. Okay.
That's a parlor trick.
Mike, that's for my stream. We
All right,
have
I
to
need to
keep
finish the
Shad's
super chat.
stream clean. Bring the
And
degenerate
it
stream over to
is
my stream.
Magic. I'm just saying.
Cameron
You're not
Cameron for
wrong.
$1.99 says the space cows are coming home to roost. Of course, it was the space cows all along. Then Jack Manson for $10 says, working on my high fantasy. The big conflict just started. It's called the Immortal War. The protagonist squad fighting against a corrupt world spawning system. Well, a corrupt world spawning system. Spawning. It says one system.
I feel bad for homosexuals.
I
The magic isn't. There's a magic. that
And
you
on
can't get.
and on
No,
that
no,
note,
so
ladies
you're
and
saying
gentlemen.
it so you're saying it wrong.
And,
It's not, there's-
and on,
you're
and on
saying it
that
wrong.
note,
There's
it
the
is
magic
time
here,
to wrap
Daddy.
up.
You gotta say it right.
All right. Thank you, everyone who has joined us for the all stream. Love you
Hey, now.
all. Appreciate yous. Go check out these guys on their channel. Mike S. Miller from Blacklist Universe, Literature Devil from Literature Devil, and Royce from A Drink with Crazy. And also thank you everyone who has joined us as well. It's been a heck of a lot of fun as always. Hope to see you on the next time. And as always, stay on watch.